Give me a second. Finishing this protein bar. Now we're good to go. Everyone get ready for hot takes. We are about to engage in some goddamn discourse here. Hold on. Studio mode, making sure I'm looking fly, as always. I look acceptably fly. Yo. Howdy, howdy. Are we choosing violence on Twitter today? No, 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 no. No, no, no. Don't worry, okay? I realized that we had a little bit of a systemic problem with the discourse that we engaged in the 2 days ago. The main problem was that I didn't emphasize at the beginning of the discussion that I'm always right. And I really, really, really think that cut into I guess the severity, really hampered it down a little bit. But this time I'll be reminding all of you at the beginning. Okay? We still got coffee to drink though. Hold on. Hey Vosh, can I request that you ask chat to not go around harassing / calling people pedos for disagreeing with your take on pride? Hey, listen, okay? If you want to say don't want to get called a pedo on Twitter, I'm the last person to ask, okay? Because I am so accustomed to it at this point. I have been saturated in the bad faith pedo accusations at this point. It's to me, I was born in the discourse, okay? No. I don't think the people who are taking the opposite position on this on pedo are pedos. Well, actually, I'm sure some of them are, but I don't think most of them are. Big Joel got dogpiled for disagreeing with you. Big Joel was getting thousands of likes on their tweet. If that's dogpiled, I mean, oh man. We'll see. God, protein bars are so good. Fuck me, dude. God. Oh. 500. Wait, did it really get 550 quote retweets? Oh, that's more than I thought. Oh, damn. All right, maybe a little bit of dogpiling. All right. Well, we'll talk about it. You already need to call people pedos for disagreeing, though. Guys, I'm not gonna lie. I do think it's really suspicious that people are fervently and angrily defending their right to wear gimp gear in front of children. I'm really sorry. I look, maybe that doesn't like inherently 100% make them a pedophile or whatever, but holy shit, dude. That's like God. It's really weird. Um yeah. It's it's suboptimal. Jeez. Protein bars are just candy bars marketed to adults. Yeah, they got a lot of sugar, but they got protein too, so. So that's nice. Can I say that while I agree with you on fetish gear, I disagree with show on drag? Drag isn't inherently sexual. Have you guys ever been to a drag show? A lot of them dress more conservatively than like Rihanna or Beyonce or something. Drag isn't inherently, when you say drag, you're like referring to an incredibly wide range of like potential appearances. BDSM isn't inherently sexual. See, now you've gone and you've taken my take and you've made it stupid, homie. Yes, BDSM is inherently sexual. I don't understand you people. I think the reason why people do this is because they want to believe their sexual proclivities are something more than that. I'm sorry, I'm coming down hard. If you like the leather, if you like the BDSM, it's just a kink. Get over yourself, okay? It's not some discriminated demographic. It's not some I see this shit from like poly people sometimes too. They act like it's some sort of, well, I agree that there are ways in which monogamous people are preferred by the state, but like they act like it's some sort of like core like axis of discrimination, or like kink people. Like, it's not. It's a fetish. It gets your dick hard. Just chill. But that's fine. If it gets your dick hard, it's fine. Like, why does it have to be, why does it have to be more than that? What, like, that? I'm not saying that makes it bad. I'm not, like, this isn't an insult. Just stop pretending that BDSM isn't sexual. If you listen to literally anyone in the kink community, it's more than just a sex thing. I don't give a fuck. Damn, I'm sure if I listened to everyone in like the pedo community, I'd get some really hot takes too. I don't care. It still is. Fuck you. Like, seriously? Being kinky can make it so you lose healthcare. I'm gonna turn into the Joker. I actually can't believe it. Guys, if you're we will ban kinksters. I will ban all of you from my community. I do not care. You people are insane. Stop. It's a kink. It exists to make you hard. Stop, okay? Please stop. Nobody cares. You people are insanely self-obsessed. You're like the type of person who ruined Humboldt Pride. You're so fucking wrapped up in the idea that there's more to your identity than like what gets your dick hard. Dude, there's nothing wrong with shit that just gets your dick hard, okay? Why can't you be like a hentai fan? The Chad hentai fan. Why do they like gigacocked Funinaris with giant milker balls? Why? Because it gets their dick hard. If you ask a hentai fan, hey, why are you wearing an Ahegao shirt? They're not going to tell you, oh, this is just part of my identity. I was discriminated against. I went on the train and they all laughed at me. No, they're going to say, I like it because the sex face makes my dick go boing. What? And that's the right answer. You guys are being outdone by hentai fans right now. This is truly shameful, and I am disgusted by all of you. Okay? God, you know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for fucking cuckold fetishists to start pretending they're a discriminated demographic as well. Oh, the social discrimination we suffer for publicly posting about our wives getting railed. Oh, God. I can't do it. I can't. We haven't even started with the segment yet, by the way. We haven't even gotten there. We'll get there. Nobody is saying they're a discriminated demographic. Can you please stop trying to turn me into the Joker? Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you so, so, so hard. Please, okay? Why can't you accept that BDSM and kink shit is like adult content? Is this really, this stuff like unironically makes me suspicious. Like, I don't know what else to say. Why, this is so obvious. God, I have kinks too, and I recognize that I'm a degenerate and that it should be kept in private away from children. Why is this really hard? Like, this feels very straightforward to me. Yeah, I don't know. uh I'm not trying to say it isn't adult. You can't say BDSM fetish gear is adult, but it's not sexual. In the context of the discussion we're having, if something's adult, that makes it sexual. Okay? Like, it's one and the other. That's what we mean. We're substituting these words. What are your thoughts on Jack Saint's argument that leather gear isn't any worse than, say, a bikini or a skimpy Mardi Gras outfit? He made a lot of tweets on the subject. All right, we're just gonna do the segment. All right, since that's all people want to talk about anyway. Okay. I want you all to understand that the fact that I'm being forced to discuss this is genuinely pathetic, and I'm actually disgusted by the broader behavior of the left-leaning community. Not because all of you are pedophiles, but because none of you are stupid enough to understand the arguments that I'm making. First, let me explain what pride is to anybody who hasn't actually been, okay? Historically, pride has been a lot of things. It's generally been like a parade, a march, sometimes a protest or a riot. There are a lot of directions that pride can take. Wait, did I say smart enough, stupid enough? No. We're going 40 IQ on this one, okay? You're trying to overthink it right now. We're going down to grug mode, okay? Because this is some intuitive shit. I hate to appeal to anti-intellectualism here, but the fact that there are people trying to fucking logic their way out of you shouldn't be sexual around kids is really weird to me. So let's just think for a second, okay? Let's talk about what pride is. Now, historically, pride has been a lot of stuff, okay? Back in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, gay people were more discriminated against here in the States. I'm referring here to America. This is like an America context type thing. And for that reason, pride parades tended to be a couple of things. First and foremost, they tended to be antagonistic, like to the broader society, which is fine. Broader society was being antagonistic to them. That works. And second of all, not a great place to bring your kids, because usually cops would crack down on it, people would be throwing rocks, it was bad, okay? Just not a great place to bring kids. Not because there were gay people there, but because it was a highly contentious social event that could lead to a lot of, you know, a lot of civil unrest, right? That's phenomenal. This is not the era in which we currently live. Most major cities, and even a lot of small cities, now have pride events. A pride event is usually orchestrated either by the city or by some nonprofit or by a local charity group or something like that. And they have this big festival, basically. The festival is held somewhere in a relatively public area, and it's meant to be a celebration of queer culture and history. Is everyone following so far? Now, I've been to a number of pride events. I lived near West Hollywood, one of the gayest places on the planet, okay? I am completely saturated in the culture, okay, of, let's be real, white cis gay men being loud, okay? I'm completely familiar with how this runs down, all right? So I've seen some people online, they're like, Vash has never even touched a dick. He doesn't know. First of all, I've sucked more dicks than you've ever seen online. That's probably not true. You're probably all always online degenerates. But anyway, shut up, okay? Second of all, that the extent to which people engage in sexual activity is not a marker of their participation in a community, okay? Look, here's how pride works, all right? Get ready, okay? Everyone get ready. So I'm going to draw a square. I know, not a very fun shape, but that's what we're going with. This right here is pride, okay? What should pride be? What pride should be now is not what pride should have been 30 years ago, keep in mind. We're not working off history here. We're working off modern need, okay? Modern utility, okay? What should pride be? Now, in my mind, pride should make it a rainbow so it's more exciting. That takes effort. In my mind, okay? This is my brain. Here's my perspective, okay? Pride should be an uncontroversial celebration of queer identity and queer history as a way of A, putting on a good face for the normies, B, giving people who are on the cusps of the community an entry into it, like an opportunity to dip their toes in, C, showing people what it's all about, and D, being fun, okay? The reason why I like these elements is because I think that it works to A, normalize, like, gay people, which is good, that's good, and B, it makes it easier for people who might otherwise not participate in the gay community jump into it. See, that's important, okay? It's important that that happen. If a person is gay or trans or lesbian, I'm just going to say gay generally because LGBT saying over and over again has more syllables. If a person is gay, generally, why care about the opinion of cishetes? Ban that person. We'll get to you. So if a person is gay, it can often be a really isolating experience, especially if you're young, okay? Or queer. Let's go with queer. If a person is queer, it can often be a really isolating experience, okay? So let me remind you guys, if you're 26 and like a gay dude, you don't have shit on 14-year-olds starting to realize they may be queer, gay, lesbian, trans, whatever, okay? You don't have shit on them, all right? They are the ones who need the greatest amount of social support, okay? Trust me. They're the ones who need the representation. They're the ones who need the public support. They're the ones who need the entryism. They're the ones who need all the help they can get, okay? I'm fucking 27, okay? I'm queer. It doesn't affect my life in the slightest. Nobody bothers me. It helps that I live in a progressive city, but my age also gives me the ability to separate myself from people who might be hateful towards me because of my identity. I have the power in that situation. If I have neighbors who I don't like, if I have coworkers who I don't like, if there are people in my life who I don't like and they hate me because I like men too, I can easily cut them out of my life. Or maybe with some difficulty, but a kid has no power, okay? No power in that respect. A kid is forced to communicate and spend time with all of the people that is lined up for them through the procession of their parental decisions and et cetera, okay? That is, they have to follow that line. They have very little power to adjust it, okay? Which is why they need the greatest amount of support. This is why people who say that pride isn't for kids should unironically go fucking walk off, okay, into the woods of Nebraska and go live and prim lifestyles where they can never again reach a computer and tell me what they think pride should be, okay? You are so selfish, so fucking selfish when you, an adult, try to tell everyone that pride shouldn't be for kids because you want to do adult shit at pride. You are so fucking self-obsessed. It makes me disgusted to be a part of this community to see takes like that taken seriously. Oh, dude, pride historically has been about throwing bricks at cop cars. First of all, fuck you, LARPer. You weren't doing shit like that. Second of all, if you really care about throwing bricks at cop cars, you shouldn't need pride as an excuse, all right? You can throw it at any time. Not that I'm endorsing that, Twitch. Thank you very much. But don't pretend like pride was like the one avenue of social unrest that you had the opportunity to participate in, okay? Because it's not. And it never has been, all right? What you're doing is you're LARPing. You're sacrificing the accessibility to kids in favor of some weird aesthetic that, and I'm going to take a hot take here, betting most of the people who are bitching about this on social media have never actually been to a pride event. Pretty confident in that. Pretty fucking confident in that. I'd bet that hard, okay? Absolutely I would. All right? Now, most pride events are presentable and, like, accessible to kids. The one in Humboldt, the one that I went to most recently, also is, okay? It was literally just like a big fairground type thing, you know? And there were, like, booths over here and there, like, make a tie-dye shirt, you know? Go buy this bar of soap made from a local vendor, you know? Here, you can buy some flags. I think the most suggestive thing I remember is that somebody molded lollipops into, like, big dicks or something. But, like, the broader, I mean, it was just fun. It was just funny. Okay, whatever. But the broader atmosphere, I think, was broadly presentable. And if you're a parent, you let your kid buy the popsicle dick. That's on you. I mean, whatever. But generally speaking, it felt like things were kept like fairly accessible to everyone. Okay. You can argue like the edge cases on that or whatever, but fine. So the problem is, okay, that there are some pride events where there are displays of what I would consider very obviously sexual behavior in ways that are not like shuttled off to some little booth in the far back that you have to look for specifically, but are like made a core element of the presentation. And this is where it really gets me, okay? This really, really bugs me because there are so many bad faith comparisons that I see online. So I think pride should be appropriate to children, okay? I think that you should be like, if you're like a gay parent, if you're like 35, and you got like a 9-year-old kid, you should be able to go there. And not only should you be able to go there, you should be able to invite like your kids' friends' parents there. Like you should be, hey, like my kid and your kid want to hang out. Maybe they could go this and we could like hang out or something, like that kind of thing. You know? Like that's how presentable I want it to be. And a lot of places are that presentable. I don't want to give the impression that all pride events are like these degeneracy havens and like I'm complaining against that. I'm mostly complaining against the people on social media who think that pride should be some sort of nightclub spillover fuckfest who do not give a shit about the kids. But there's a group even worse than them. There's the group of people who say, no, pride should be for kids. And we should have sexual activity at pride. And that's where all the pedo accusations come in. Okay? Now, let's address these arguments real quick. Okay? Now, this mostly gets hung up on what constitutes sexual activity. And people come out with the arguments, you know? If you go to the beach, you see people in boxers, you see people in bikinis. Is this sexual activity? To which I would say no. Culturally and contextually, beaches are places where people wear that type of clothing. I don't think anybody thinks of that as sexual activity. I don't think anyone thinks of that as inappropriate. Additionally, beaches tend to be spread out. They tend to be a lot of distance between the people who attend them. And additionally, beaches aren't presentative. There isn't a central aesthetic focus to a beach. You go there for the beach, you know? So for those reasons, like, I don't think this is necessarily a clean comparison, all right? Now, if you're wearing, like, leather gimp gear or some sort of BDSM dog hood on a leash or some shit, I think this is sexual. Now, a lot of people, they've said, oh, this isn't sexual. How is this sexual? You can go to Victoria's Secret and see people in a bikini on the advertisement, which, first of all, okay, having an advertisement with, like, softcore nudity is nowhere near the same as a gigantic fucking block party with men in leather thongs dancing around, okay? I can this is not the same thing, okay? All right? This is not even remotely comparable for so many reasons that are so obvious that I worry the people making these takes legitimately have never been outside. So to them, a picture on a billboard and a person in real life, they carry the same weight in their head. Like to that, like their minds have melted until they don't understand the difference between bringing a kid to a shopping mall and walking by a Victoria's Secret and bringing a kid to Pride and seeing a bunch of dudes in leather fucking gimp suits being led around by a leash. The idea to me that there are people in actual good earnest faith making the comparison between those two things is unfathomable to me. This sounds like a trad take, not gonna lie. Mods, you can just ban everyone who says shit like that. None of these people belong in my community, okay? Now, additionally, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, just purge, okay? Just remove, okay? These people, they don't have arguments, by the way. They just want to be able to wave their dick around in front of kids. Yeah, I'll say it. I think you're fucking weird, okay? So the idea that these things are comparable, okay, is absolutely ridiculous to me. Additionally, a lot of the people, they'll make these arguments. Have you heard this argument while participating in the discourse online? You know, see, you're so prudish and American, you know, seeing a person in, like, tight leather thong or seeing a person naked even, it's not harmful to children. We should destigmatize nudity and sexuality. They're not the same thing, which I don't know if the argument they're making here is that it should be okay to flash children in subway train stations. Is that the argument they're making? Like you're, like, walking with your kid, like, in the New York subway, and someone flashes their dick at you, and, like, the kid's like, ah, and somebody else like, and you're like, no. Sexuality and nudity aren't the same thing. Come on, guys. What are these trad takes right here? No. Come on. Oof, that's a pretty shitty bad equivalency. No, it's not. You're just too stupid to get it. The argument is that even if nudity isn't inherently sexual, there are contexts in which it's inappropriate to engage in public. Like, for example, all of society, you fucking idiots. Jesus Christ, do we really have to argue back to this point? One of the core things that I learned when I got my fucking kinky rocks on or whatever in college was public play is irresponsible unless done in a controlled setting because people around you haven't consented to being a party to your to your sexual activity. This is like 101 stuff. The fact to me that people are backing off this position, like, oh yeah, sure, it's a violation of others' consent to involve them in sexual activity in public, unless it's at Pride, in which case it's totally okay. What? Are you fucking joking? Are you kidding me right now? Unless you do this wraparound and you're like, well, actually, it's not sexual at all, the gimp suits and the dog mask, to which I say, fuck off, and come on. Guys, I'm honestly, right now, I'm arguing past the boundary that I need to. There's only one point I actually need to make, okay? You know what it is? People aren't comfortable around people wearing gimp suits and dog masks. That's it. People should be comfortable going to Pride. That's it. You don't have to, like the arguments that people will pull out to defer from this position are insane to me. I'm actually asking because I just want to ban all the people who give the wrong answer on this, okay? Would you be okay with a bill saying that for, like, sex ed given to your kids, that rather than being, like, read out from a book, that the teacher gets naked and, like, shows on their body? Would you be okay with that? Is that okay? Because nudity isn't sexual, right? It's, like, totally fine, right? Okay? We're looking for any yesers in chat want to get... Yeah. Yeah? Because this seems like the natural, logical progression from what I'm seeing online. Like, nudity and sexuality need to be destigmatized. Look, dog, okay? Nudity is not inherently sexual, but inherently isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about the culture that we live in, okay? You know what else isn't inherently offensive? Flipping people off, calling them the N-word. It's just a collection of vibrations through the soundscape, okay? That's not inherently harmful. Saying slurs isn't inherently harmful. It's only contextually harmful. Well, we live in a society, guys, okay? We live in a society. So this inherently this or that is a completely invalid argument when we're talking about the potential to harm people, okay? Inherently, anytime a person says something is inherently this or that, it almost naturally invalidates their argument because we almost never talking about things which are inherently anything, okay? So I feel like I've dispensed with most of the bad faith arguments here, and a lot of the people here have been banned, but I just want to say, people who are arguing it's not inherently sexual to be led around by a leash and a dog mask, I don't give a fuck. It's considered sexual. Everyone considers it sexual. Everyone does. You're the only lunatic who doesn't, okay? You could take photos of a person being led around in public in a dog mask with a leash and show them to 1,000 people, and I guarantee you the overwhelming majority of those people are going to say it's sexual. And given that whether or not something is sexual is a social construct, I defer to the wisdom of the masses on this particular subject. What about topless women in public? Well, that's an interesting question right there, okay? Do women go topless in public in states where they're allowed to? The answer is no. In New York City, they're allowed to, aren't they? But they don't. Do you know why? It's because there are cultural and social repercussions to going topless in public. Now, maybe in the far future, like 1 billion years from now, or whatever, maybe then all humans are enlightened and we're all levitating with our brain power and we're all naked and nobody cares because nobody considers it sexual. People only wear clothing to protect us from the harsh solar radiation when we travel into space and fly off to our interstellar fucking colonies, okay? Maybe then, all right? But the problem is, people aren't living in that zone right now. And the arguments for nudity not being inherently sexual are not going to ring particularly well when I fucking climb up on a ladder to your second-story bathroom or bedroom window and start jerking off in front of it, okay? You're not going to appreciate my extremely woke arguments on whether or not nudity is inherently sexual then, are you? Okay? No, you're not. Because all of you live in a society too, and the only reason you're taking this fucking devil's advocate position is because you like the idea of being horny at Pride. Okay? Jerking off in public is already against the law. What an incredible homophobic element of discrimination. Am I right, guys? Look, guys, you guys ready? Here's what you can do. The main Pride event should be accessible to everyone. Did you know that there's never just one Pride event in any city ever? Did you know that there are billions of block parties and after parties, clubs hosting special events, fucking private venues hosting shows and all that shit afterwards, everywhere in every city in America that has more than 10,000 people in its population? Did you know pride parades aren't the be-all, end-all of public queer advocacy and expression? Did you know that? Are you aware that if you really want to wear a dog mask in front of people, you can go to any of the dozens of available spaces designed to cater to horny adults? You can do that anywhere. Just, can we let Pride be like an event where people can just like go and it's not this crazy fucking controversy optics nightmare 97 fucking % of the time? Can you clarify if people in a leather vest is sexual or not? Guys, I don't know why when I say leather gimp suit, people hear this. Hold on. Gay leather. Let me show you what's not inappropriate at Pride. I don't know why this is controversial to anyone. I don't know what. Okay, hold on. This is fine. Why do people keep pretending that when I say leather gimp suit, I mean dudes like this, okay? Yes, I know about leather culture. Holy shit, they're dressed up more than I am at Pride. I wear tank tops and shorts at Pride, okay? They're wearing more than I am, all right? Now, this admittedly, I mean, this looks pretty warm. I don't know what the temperature is over there. Gonna get pretty steamy under that clothing, which is maybe the point. But when I'm saying leather gimp suits, I am not referring to people wearing normal clothing, which admittedly looks a little bit like Nazi clothes, but that's just kind of the... It's a whole cultural thing, okay? But like, look at the, like, look. Okay, if you can get past the fact that it does look a little bit like Nazi stuff, especially this guy's wearing an armband. A blue armband? Is this like pro cop leather? Look, ignoring the potential political implications, nobody's referring to this when they talk about like leather shit being inappropriate. Now, there are a lot of photos open on my Google Images on my other monitor, which are quite inappropriate that I'll not be showing for Twitch purposes. But also, like, here, I can show this. Also, if you're like wearing an open jacket, dogs, you can wear an open jacket like anywhere in America. This is fine. You can wear this anywhere. Like anywhere at all. Okay? They actually are complaining about that, though. I strongly disagree. From the discourse that I've seen online, people are mostly using that dog fetish leash thing as an example of inappropriate behavior, and then people acting in bad faith are like, "You have a problem with leather? Okay." And then they post a picture of like a gay guy completely dressed in leather. I think that is fetish wear, though. Yeah, but you know what else is fetish wear? Leggings. But you can wear leggings in public. Just because there's an article of clothing associated with kink or fetish doesn't mean that every public demonstration of that piece of clothing is inappropriate. Obviously, okay? But can we really look? I'm not trying to define the lines here, okay? I'm not telling you there is a very solid, very specific, very definite line where this is acceptable and this is unacceptable because you know what? We don't have that anywhere. Anywhere. We can't even agree what acceptable clothing is for high schoolers in school. There is no way to determine with perfect accuracy what an acceptable line is. I'm only making the argument that you shouldn't engage in sexual behavior around children, that kink, BDSM, pet play, dom shit is sexual behavior that you shouldn't engage in around children, and that pride should be accessible to kids. Those are the arguments that I am making. Okay? If you want to wear a spiked collar or like cat ears or some shit, those are associated with kink. You can wear them anyway. You can wear that shit to fucking school these days, probably. I don't know. The kids are crazy these days. People care less and less about this stuff. And in 10 or 20 or 30 years, maybe the line moves on this, okay? And when the line moves, we can have this conversation again, okay? Maybe in the year 2172, okay? When the teleportation and levitation shit's finally starting to kick in, maybe everyone just wears thongs and pasties in the future, okay? Maybe. Maybe that's just the default. Maybe the president wears that. That's just the uniform in the future, okay? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe 2170. I don't know what's going to be going on down there. The lines are culturally determined and they're variable and they're arbitrary and they differ from culture to culture. I'd be okay with pride parades in Europe maybe being a little bit more permissive with nudity than pride parades in America for the same reason that I think it's okay to do some things in some countries but not other things in other countries. The broader utilitarian concern is conforming to the cultural expectations that you live of the country you live in. And if you disagree with that, then my follow-up question would be, how would you feel about going to Saudi Arabia as long as you were given some kind of diplomatic immunity and holding a pride parade over there using the same kind of clothing and attitudes that you do over here in the States? You fucking wouldn't, would you? No, you fucking wouldn't. No, you would not. Absolutely you would not. None of you are stupid enough to try. Because the cultural inclinations of a society matter when deciding how to behave in public events there. Okay? Does that make sense? Are we all on board now? Anyone, I just want to point out, by the way, that like basically all pride or queer oriented events that aren't the main pride event every year are already catering to adult interests. So the people who are saying we should be able to be super fucking horny in public are saying not only do we deserve all of this territory and all of this territory and all the clubs and all the events and all the bars and all the private parties, we also deserve the main pride event, which they're free to go to, by the way. Just wear clothes. That's what they're saying. And I find their arguments unconvincing and their behavior incredibly selfish. Not to mention the optics stuff. I haven't even talked optics, okay? But yeah, Pride is basically the most forward-facing, like, optically available, like, queer event in America. And every year we get the same discourse. Wouldn't it be easier to just, like, saddle the controversy a little bit, considering how often gay people are accused of being fucking pedos? Because I'm gonna be real with you guys. I really do think that the people who want to be kinky at Pride just get off on being transgressive. Okay, I do believe that. I don't think they sincerely believe that they're doing some sort of crazy like civil rights fight. I just think it gets their dick hard to be super transgressive in public. Which, hey, by the way, you don't have to be gay for that to be the case, okay? Straight people also get off on being transgressive in public. That doesn't make it good, and that doesn't make it a civil rights struggle, okay? All right, I think we did it. But you're literally promoting the idea that gays are pedos? No. I'm saying the idea that people adamantly fighting for the right to be sexual in front of children are pretty suspicious in that regard, okay? And I think the vast majority of IRL fucking queer people would consider the online positions I've seen people take insane, by the way. Just from the queer people I've met in real life, I can say this very confidently, that if I talk to them about this would be a no-brainer for them. Yeah, Pride should be available for kids. Yeah, we probably shouldn't do any crazy sex stuff at Pride. Yeah, obviously. But then I go online and a bunch of fucking bread tubers who have probably never been to a Pride event in their fucking life are dying on this hill. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be mean to the people who are doing this. But like, God, come on. All right, are we good? Do we do it? Are we here? Are we free? Is this appropriate clothing at Pride? I don't know. You know, I get the aesthetic that he's trying for here, but yeah, I don't know, man. This feels like a little inappropriate. Uh Okay, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. We have to do the public call out. Jack Sane and Big Joel and the Surfs have been the bad ones on this in public shit. Okay, hold on. This is from like 20 minutes ago. When Lauren Southern Angie speaks the quartering Destiny, I'll get mad at you. That's when you know you had a huge mistake. Titans of the mind, these people. Okay, Big Joel, I love you, and for the most part, being disagreed with by a bunch of conservative people, would be an indication of you having a good take, but that doesn't always mean you have a good take on this, okay? Not always, okay? Just, yeah. Just, I'm just saying, if you do the thing, they can Pepe La D if they want. If you do the thing where you define your beliefs by the opposition from the worst people online, then you're going to run down bad positions no matter what. All right. Anyway, I'm happy to talk about this with anyone who wants to talk about this with me, but like, do we really need to? I'm right. Didn't Demon Mama say she disagreed with your position? Yep. You know, I was thinking yesterday would be a relatively uncontroversial stream because I didn't realize that saying we shouldn't be sexual in front of children would be like a hot take in the queer community, but... but, you know... Vosh, we should push boundaries that sometimes make people uncomfortable, right? Said the pedophile to the judge. Good argument there. That's pretty universally applicable. You see, Your Honor, this was a social experiment. Come on. No, that doesn't... you could justify anything with that. Also, by the way, the boundaries that I want pushed are not being sexual in front of kids. What boundaries are you guys trying to push, okay? For me, the boundary that I'm trying to push is the social normalization of queer people, which is what you do by making Pride accessible. But the boundary you guys seem to be trying to push is how erect can I be in front of children in public before I get arrested? And this is not a boundary I have any interest in at all. Wherever the boundary is right now is probably fine. It doesn't really need to be pushed. Okay. Your Honor, I was being highly subversive. Is it that hard to just not make people uncomfortable? What about asexual people? What about people who just aren't comfortable seeing the shit being run around? Is your desire to be horny in public really more important than all of them? Like, it's just so disrespectful, you know? Bosh, ace people can do King too. Don't use them for their argument. Don't you fucking pretend that a lot of the kink shit that goes on in Pride that people are defending right now has nothing to do with sexual proclivities, okay? Horny people have no rights, okay? Or at least they shouldn't. Do you think the prudeness of the naked body that society has might be driving some of these responses? Yeah, but that's the society that we live in, okay? Like, would this be... Okay, first of all, can we accept the premise? Sexuality and sex aren't the same thing. Right? That's why it's not inappropriate to have, like, gay couples in kids shows. Right? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So if we acknowledge that sexuality and sex aren't the same thing, that means sex is as tied to sexuality as it is to race. Question? Let's see where they go with this. Hold on. Huh? Oh, wait. Hold on. No. Okay, so there is a connection then between sex and sexuality, yes? Okay. How is gay couples existing sexuality? In the word gay that you just said. The word gay is a sexuality. That's the word, where the sexuality was. Right, it's sexuality, it's not sex. Right, sex and sexuality aren't the same thing. Okay, we got that? Totally cool in that? Okay, but there is a connection between the two. This makes sense? What a train wreck, holy fuck. It's been 30 seconds, shut up. Okay, so there's a connection between the two, right? Makes sense. Sexuality determines the type you leave sex with, blah, blah, blah. Right, okay, phenomenal. Okay, fantastic. All right. However, are there not plenty, and I mean plenty, of avenues by which you could advance the extent to which society is sexually proclivious? Whether we're talking advertising, the type of stuff shown in media, whether we're talking like public events, whether we're talking the normalization of pornography, which sounds like a weird thing to say, but actually there has been a lot of change in that respect in terms of how weird people were considered to be with whether or not they watch pornography. Okay, so why would you turn the one queer event we get every year into a fucking monstrous amalgam of both of these civil rights struggles, which I give the quotation because I don't think people being horny in public is a civil rights struggle. Okay? Let's just focus on the sexuality thing. Was that necessary? Yes, it was. Do you think women shouldn't be topless in public? Serious question. They can do what they want, as long as they're aware of the decision they're making and the consequences it'll have. However, if I'm taking my kids to a scholastic book fair, I would like it if all of the teachers had their shirts on. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That if I want a public event to be accessible to people, even if in the broader sense I believe people should have the right to take their shirts off, I still want them to have their shirts on there. What is this like people don't care about context. Is drag okay around kids? Yeah, drag isn't inherently sexual. I said that at the beginning of the... All right, are we done? We have to be done right now. I feel like we've done enough. We've lost enough subs as it is, okay? We good? Did we do it? I think we're good. I think we did it. No, no hyena. Please God, no. All right, I think we did it. Nicely done, people. Even if you're trying to push the boundary to achieve normalization, optically it's terrible. Why add kinks when we're still fighting for equal treatment? Yeah, I have no fucking idea. It's super, super, super weird to me. But I really do think it just comes down to people being inconsiderate. They just want to be horny in public, and they're trying to force it onto a civil rights struggle. That sounds like really cynical on my part, but I really do believe it. Considering how obvious the argument is, if people are uncomfortable, you shouldn't do it. Like, but they don't listen to that. So I can only assume that this is some, like, yeah, incredibly selfish desire. Yeah, hold on. All right. Nicely done, people. What's the upcoming modern day debate about? I looked at the title. Makes me want to press the R key in Roblox. Oh, yes, the super straight debate. I was high as fuck when I agreed to this debate. but I guess we're talking to T-Jump. What time is it? 6:35 p.m. I guess that'll be a Resident Evil stream. I have an unfortunate tendency of doing my scheduling decisions when I'm incapacitated. So yeah. And the day after this, we're going on the Crystal and Kyle podcast, but that won't be live. I assume. That won't be live. Are you dressing like that on the image? I've worn a suit once on stream, and once was enough. Thank you. Go off on this tweet with 14K likes saying pride shouldn't be for kids. Sure. This person blocked me. All right. Well, incog. Okay. So this is what I mean. All right. Now we're about to peer beyond the veil, and we're about to take a look at a homophobe. Okay. This is a homophobic person. Pride is people celebrating their own sexualities. It's not a zoo to bring your kids to so you can gawk at the gays. If you do that and your kids see people doing gay shit, that's on you. I have already identified 17 ways in which this is a homophobic statement. First of all, people aren't bringing their kids to gawk at the gays. There are gay kids. Also, there are gay people who want to bring their kids. This person thinks that being a gay person means being like a Discord kinkster who's 19 years old and has like 3 doms, okay? This person's understanding of pride and queerness and being gay is determined 100% exclusively by like their particular kinks, okay? This person knows nothing about gay culture, all right? And this person's a homophobe. Goddamn right. If young queer kids are uncomfortable with that, it's fine. They can just come back when they're older. Fuck these people. Hey, sorry, fucking Sally, the 14-year-old trans girl who goes to a fucking Jesuit high school. You know, you thought you might be able to make some friends at the local Pride. Your only opportunity to go and meet other people with, like, your potential same identification. But nope, sorry. I'm there and I want to be able to piss in people's mouths. So, nope, absolutely not. I didn't really feel like I belonged at Pride until I was 27 and it's fine. Oh, that's it. So this person has emotional issues from being closeted for so long and they're projecting onto everyone else. If I had to suffer, you all have to suffer. Bitch, get out of here with that shit. Fuck these people. You know, the more, I feel like the thing, if there's anything that I've learned between now and 2.5 years ago, it's that oppressed people are just as miserable, stupid, fucking inconsiderate, hateful pieces of shit as oppressors, okay? The only difference is one side has the guns and one side doesn't, okay? And that's a meaningful difference that should be acknowledged, respected, and addressed, but it's unfortunately, yeah, I have been completely blackpilled on the idea that, like, being part of an oppressed demographic makes you, like, a better person, because it's so not true. All right, we did it. All right, we did it. No more discourse, please. Save me. Save me from the dark. Wake me up inside. I think it may be an internet thing. The wildest opinions are always visible. Yeah, but that opinion wasn't visible because it got ratio. That opinion was visible because it had 15,000 likes with no ratio. I want you all to know, like, the temptation to just give up on making these arguments and just call them all pedophiles is so overwhelming. Because I hate them. I hate them so much. Oh, God. Bosh, that same person said they've never been to a pride parade. Real? Oh my god. How am I so right? How am I so fucking correct? Everything I do and say, they're all LARPers. They've never actually done. They don't participate. The closest they've come to gay culture is the fucking Discord servers they're in. And they gatekeep other people? Insane. I hate them. I hate them so fucking much. Oh my god, I despise them so much. Oh my god. These people live inside my mind. Their entire brain is contained within mine. I can fucking run my brain processor for 2 seconds and simulate their entire fucking argument in my head, okay? That's all I need. Everything that they are exists within the worst vestiges of my thoughts, okay? Oh my god, I hate them so much. Horny people are canceled. Congratulations. Oh no, do we have to ban more people? Vosh, the leather community is the oldest, most old guard LGBTQ organization in modern history, going back to World War II. To separate leather from pride is to ignore the actual history of the LGBTQ community. Damn, dude. Well, you know what the oldest history in America is for treatment of gay people? Do we really want to go with arguments from history on this one? Appeals to tradition? Well, actually, I'm only adhering to my Anglo tradition of 10,000 years by burning you at the stake. No! You can celebrate. First of all, I already said that wearing leather is fine as long as it's not like inappropriate. And second of all, you can learn about the history of something without having people physically walking around in the costumes of that history. Also, can be separate leather or adult friendly events. Like there were so many counter arguments. All right, stop. What's your counter arguments to appeals to history? I fuck their mother, or I guess in this case their father. That would probably hit a little bit closer to home. What is this?
They raised $2,000 for Palestine. Vosh raised like $300,000 for Palestine, and he is literally the furthest from a fucking booba streamer. Okay, like nobody wants to see Vosh in a hot tub.
Wow, damn,
Vosh
Hassan.
has bigger boom. I'm just saying. Well, this is still sick, by the way.
It's on at TwitchCon. It's on at TwitchCon now. The rate I'm losing weight, we'll be able to go peck to peck. It's all over for Hassan. He's been getting what do you call it? He's been getting fuck, what's the term? When you're sitting on your heels, you know, when you're resting, you're not keeping up in form. What's it called? Complacent. He's been getting complacent. He's been getting soft. Yeah. He's been getting soft is what he's been getting. I've heard him say, I haven't exercised since X or Y. I've been exercising every day. You better step up, Hassan. Because when they bust out the fucking demo hot tubs at TwitchCon so people can take the vanity photos of themselves in there, all right? It's on like Donkey Kong, okay? I'm splashing around in there. Yeah, you're getting soft. I'm getting hard. All right. We had segments today. If you can believe it, we did have segments today. What do you think of an 18 plus After Dark Pride? We already do that. That already happens. These people can just go there. They can go to both and just put their clothes on for the regular Pride. Vosh, Lil Hassan is still years of gym away from you, though. I'd say the average male could achieve Hassan's physique in about 6 to 8 weeks of dedicated exercise, you know? Yeah, it's not too hard. Yeah, you know, just some light jogging, maybe. No, that's okay, Hans, if I care. Okay, we have to stop. We have to stop, okay? There's a prominent sex educator willing to debate. I've already educated their dad on sex. I don't need this. Wait, this is the person you're talking about? Hold on. I'd be open to talk with Vosh, but given the clips I've seen from him, I doubt he would see my perspective and his community wouldn't listen even if valid points are made. Strawman and fallacies are easier to pull out and scream about than have an actual convo. He's already poisoned the well. Why would I talk with somebody who's like, I could have a conversation with Vosh, but his low IQ, bad faith audience? No. Also, I'm already right. Why would we... I'm already right. All right. We're moving on. Who wants PragerU? All right. You know, I saw this America's Promise video from like a week ago. The only reason I picked it is because the first slideshow image that it skips to when you hold your thumb over the thumbnail, or you hold your mouse over the thumbnail, is like slavery, and it's called America's Promise. And I wanted to know where they're going with this. Are they going to talk about like 40 acres and a mule, the promise we broke? I want to see. Let's go.
I want to tell you something that
Okay, hold on. I just want to say, we're talking about race issues in PragerU today because they found a black guy, all right? This guy's about to say some insane shit because they knew that if they had a white guy saying it, it was going to be... Keep in mind, the people here, I don't think they write the scripts. The people speaking don't write the scripts. They're given the scripts by... I think that for a lot of them, Dennis Prager actually writes them himself. Yeah, so... the person you see speaking is just the spokesman for whatever PragerU wants to say. But all right, hit me with it. Maybe it'll be a good point,
everybody once knew, and now many have either forgotten or never learned. Pay very close attention.
Okay.
America promises you freedom.
Cool.
America does not promise you love. Let's start with the freedom part. It's all right there in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution.
Then why were there still slaves after the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution? Wait, you can't say it's all right there when these documents were ratified and they still had millions of slaves. That's a little, seems a little contradictory if you think about it for a hot second.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Free speech. Freedom to practice the religion of your choice. The purpose of government is to protect your freedom, period. America was a rough and tumble place in its early days. It still is. Let's hope it always remains so. You don't want to live in a country where all your needs are taken.
Wait, are we really not going to acknowledge the slavery bit? You can't say, "Oh yeah, dude, freedom? It's all right here," and the document was ratified during the slave days by slave owners. You can't. We're just skipping right by that, I guess. But all right. So now we have Secret Service agents. These are Secret Service agents, right? I mean, they look like them. This is what I pay my taxes for. Every U.S. citizen should have 2 Secret Service agents dedicated exclusively to feeding them grapes, fanning them, washing them, etc., etc.
Care of by the government. That's not how you become great. That's how you become dependent, vulnerable, and truly oppressed.
So this is a really common conservative narrative. If the government does anything for you, that will make you like actually oppressed and dependent on the government. And this logically fails in so many ways. So I'm going to bust out some Ben Shapiro type like facts and logic right here. First of all, in most measures of democracy, European countries actually have a higher freedom index, and they have more robust welfare states. So that kind of debunks it right there. But additionally, what are we talking about when we say provided by the government? What does it mean? The government provides you freedom. What does that actually mean? Like, really think about that for a second. When the government, how do you provide freedom? What does that mean? They just let you do whatever? Well, if that's the case, what's the point of the state at all? Does it, what is it doing? What is the actual thing that it's doing? Well, the answer to that is that, unfortunately, rights, like a right to freedom, they don't just exist in and of themselves. They have to be enshrined. They have to be defended. This is the key difference between positive freedom and negative freedom, which is something that conservatives pretend doesn't exist. The idea of, I forget which one is which always, but the 2 different types of freedom are essentially this. One freedom is you can do whatever you want. And the other, or more accurately, we won't stop you from doing what you want to do. And the other type of freedom is you have the ability to do that which you want to do. Negative freedom is the one conservatives care about. Freedom from interference. The state can't prevent you from doing X or Y. But positive freedom is what they never talk about. The ability to be able to do the things you want to do. Guys, what freedoms do you have as a person with no money whatsoever? Well, legally, you have the exact same freedoms as anybody else. The state is equally incapable of preventing you from doing X or Y. But in a positive sense, you have no freedom because everything costs money. Everything. You don't have the freedom to eat. You don't have the freedom to live. You don't have any freedom at all. So that's the reason why sometimes welfare from the state makes you more free. Because if you're given money to buy food, you now have the freedom to not starve. Not only is there not a law against not starving, but now you have the ability to push for freedom. This is the critical distinction here. Welfare makes you more free, unless you think you're free living 3 jobs or working 3 jobs trying to save up enough money to pay back college debt and pay for your kids' food and school supplies. Is that freedom? You can do anything, hypothetically, but you only have the ability to do nothing. All right.
America is a land of opportunity for anyone of any color. Just follow some basic rules. Get an education, work hard.
Really had to throw in of any color there too, just to like preempt that one too, you know?
Act responsibly, and you'll have a good shot at a good life. But you might also fail. You might fail a bunch of times and then succeed. Or you might succeed and blow it all. That's America, a never-ending dance of risk and reward, all made possible by freedom.
What if you could make the risk smaller so that even if your business venture doesn't succeed, you don't like die? And what if the reward was easier to get? Because lately it's been harder and harder to get. Wealth inequality is growing more and more. The newest generations have a smaller and smaller proportion of the wealth available in this country. If you disguise all economic activity of risk and reward, you can say this for anyone. Guys, do you know what else was risk and reward? Medieval Europe. Well, you know, you could risk it all and raise a peasant army to go attack a local nobleman, seize their castle and their treasury, and use the wealth to pay a private army. Then the king will benight you and ratify you, and that's the reward. But sometimes you just die, you know? Sometimes you can make this argument about anything. You can make this argument about the Egyptian pharaohs, risk and reward. All of life is risk and reward. Using these vague generalities is just a way to get away with not addressing any of the actual material realities of the situation, which is why PragerU videos never use actual numbers, by the way.
Made possible by freedom. Freedom is America's source of power, and the denial of that power to Black people and others at the inception of this nation and for nearly 200 years after its founding remains a stain and a source of pain.
What? Wait. Hold on. The argument that slavery leaves a stain on America is something that Prager University has explicitly argued against. A stain, as in a lasting effect? That's what a stain is? It stays. That's the point of the term. Did they just contradict themselves? Yeah, they did. Other PragerU videos have explicitly said, this is all in the past. Slavery, you know, it was a mistake. We did it, now we're back better than ever. We got rid of slavery faster than anyone, which isn't true, by the way. Yeah, I guess whatever arguments work best for whatever video you're using.
Yes, some of the founders had slaves, but almost all of them knew that it was morally wrong and would one day end.
That's worse.
When Thomas Jefferson wrote the words, all men are created equal, the slavery question was resolved.
Wait, wait, what? So it was resolved, comma, asterisk, 150 years in the future? Wait, no, not 150 years. Yeah, like 100 years in the future? What? What? Dog, white people feeling bad about some shit 100 years ago doesn't mean that the racism didn't just... Did they, like, Abraham Lincoln, he, like, did his Gettysburg Address, and he was like, oh, yeah, well, I mean, this basically already happened, so... What? This is incoherent. It's a stain, but also was resolved. They knew it was wrong, but then they fixed it, but not for 100 years? This is meaningless. This is absolutely meaningless.
The only issue was how and when. And it took a lot longer than it should have. But it did end, and a lot of good people died on the battlefield to see that it did.
So wait, if we lived in a brutal dictatorial regime, And a million years ago, they said all people are created equal, but then they continue to like rigorously oppress massive swaths of the population. Is that like a resolved issue? Like, have you ever read the Soviet Union's charter? Does that mean none of the shit that happened afterwards mattered because they were committed to the principles of equality beforehand? That's a question I'd like to ask them. Hey, the charter of the Constitution of the Soviet Union was pretty progressive. Does that mean like, oh yeah, the Holodomor, the oppression of the ethnic minorities, whatever. Also, notice the language used here. This is very funny to me. Hold on.
And a lot of good people died on the battlefield to see that it did.
No mention that it was the Confederates fighting for slavery or the Northerners fighting against it, okay? Admitting, by the way, that the Civil War was about slavery, but don't want to alienate our audience by pointing out this is how small the conservative brain is. You can acknowledge 98% of the information surrounding a historical fact, but as long as you don't fill in the last piece, your audience won't connect the dot on them. I bet you conservatives are watching this just nodding like, But in the next video, they'll go back to saying that it was a war of northern aggression or that it was fought over states' rights, and they'll go, as long as you don't directly say it to them, the explicit language, the Confederates fought a war to preserve slavery. As long as you don't say that, then they'll just continue nodding along.
And when it ended, giants like Booker T. Washington and Frederick Douglass understood that Black Americans would have to succeed on their own as free men and women.
Yeah. Yes, Frederick Douglass, known advocate for libertarian free market economics with no broader social support. Not to speak, by the way, didn't Booker T and Frederick Douglass fight against each other all the time? Frederick Douglass spent his entire life demanding the state do more for black people because an unbelievable harm must be remedied with an unbelievable good. Like, again, they can only say this about these people because they're dead now. If PragerU existed 100 years ago, they would have been calling both of these guys the N-words. Oh, it's W.E.B. Du Bois fought with Booker. I gotcha.
And women. They had no illusions that the government would save them. They only want...
I can't... Dude, the reason they wrote that was they were saying, like, when they did say this, it was like, the government is so fucked and so racist that we have no choice but to act on our own. But they wrote extensively on the extent to which the government's preferential treatment of white people had led to them being preferred in society.
They only wanted what all Americans should ever want the government to do: protect their freedom. But the founders never promised.
How do you get your freedom? Hold on. Frederick Douglass advocated for some pretty spectacular stuff. Frederick Douglass on revolution and integration. Yeah, Frederick Douglass was had some thoughts on this. The relation of revolution and integration, involving a twofold effort to overthrow an unjust order and then to reconstitute society on terms of equality and concord between the antecedent orders ruling and the subordinated classes, has long provoked controversy in Afro-American political thought. An exceptionally insightful analysis of this problematic relation appears in the political thought of the eminent 19th century abolitionist and integrationist Frederick Douglass. Yeah. Like, Douglass talked about the domination of black people by the state for being reliant on white people for their material existence. He was more radical than they want to admit. Of course, they do the same thing with Martin Luther King Jr. And by the way, Sean, Dumbfuckasias on Twitter, his video on the 1776 Project talked about this. How Prager University, Donald Trump, the Republicans in general, they'll take the writings of like black revolutionaries and they'll just completely twist their words only because they're now dead. Whereas if these figures were still alive, they would be calling them SJW libcucks, communists, America haters, etc., etc. But it's really only because they're dead that they get away with this. But I invite any PragerU fan. How do you feel about Prager University just lying to you? Like, how do you feel about that? like it's not just differences in opinions. It's that the way these videos are constructed, they just lie to you. Doesn't that make you feel weird? Like, if your positions were good, they should be able to, stand on their own a little bit?
Love, not to whites or blacks or anyone else. During his famous I Have a Dream speech, Martin Luther King referenced freedom 20 times. He never once spoke the word love. Why not?
What?
Because America has nothing to do with that. If you want love,
what is this
and we
love
all do,
fixation?
Look to God, your family, and your friends. The government doesn't love you and isn't supposed to.
Why does it, again, so the goal here is to conflate a humane social service program with love, by the way. Because they know that there are material benefits to having welfare programs and government support. Instead, they take all that and they boil it down to love. Like, people who collect checks from the government think the government loves them. This is some highly delusional shit, and it's actually some really strong projection, because it is, in fact, conservatives who love the state. Conservatives in PragerU and the like, they're the ones who worship the state, who worship the flag. They're the ones who believe that the state is like an apparatus designed to cater to their emotional needs. They're the one who make the state a father figure. And they project that onto people who just want a goddamn paycheck from the government because the economy is broke. This is really pathetic.
The government is a poor and abusive provider. It offers the bare minimum and fosters a dependency that undermines freedom. During the
except countries with stronger welfare states also have greater economic mobility. Don't look that up. If you're a conservative, don't look that up, okay? It's very triggering. But countries with better welfare systems have higher economic mobility. People are more likely to move out of poverty with better welfare systems. Don't look that up. It'll be very upsetting to some people.
2020 Black Lives Matter season, NBA players actually
Black Lives Matter season? Okay.
Wore jerseys with the slogan, "Love us," emblazoned on the back.
Based.
You can't demand love from people.
What?
Love is freely given.
Wait, weren't we talking about love from the state? Why are we talking about a fucking jersey logo now? What is the relationship between this? Are we just talking about love as a concept? What does this mean?
Or not given at all. Telling people not to call you this name or that name, or not to act this way or that way, consciously or unconsciously, because it offends you, will not bring you love.
Okay, then I'm going to refer to veterans, Republicans, conservatives, and every other group you like exactly how I want. By the way, this is from the political party who fielded a president who tried to get people deported for burning the flag. By the way.
Love is your mother's smile, or that look your kid gives you when you come home from work.
This is very
Love
weird.
is that man or woman who protects you when you're scared and provides a home where you can flourish. And love is what God offers you every moment of every day.
This is very weird.
To the government, you're just a social security number, nothing more.
Again, nobody is saying, also doxed, wow. Nobody is saying the government loves them. Where is this argument coming? I've never heard this from anyone.
I'm okay with that because I don't want or expect the government to know or care about me.
Cool.
Mostly, I want the government to leave me alone. I'm proud to be an American.
Well, hold on. You want them to leave you alone, except you want them to protect property rights, to have cops around that defend people's businesses and homes and what have you. You want them to enforce the law, right? So you do want the police, at the very least, to have some sort of role in the functioning of society. Okay. So if you believe, then, that the imposition of government force can actually increase your freedom, which I believe, by the way, making murder illegal and then enforcing that law does make society more free, would you not then argue there are other positive things the government could do to make everyone more free? Like, for example, a universal basic income. That way, people would be free to spend more of their free time pursuing things which interest them, or improving themselves, learning skills, talents, hobbies, vocations, going to night classes in college, rather than having to spend every waking minute working to survive. That would be an increase in freedom, would it not? Sure, people would have to pay taxes to sustain that universal basic income, but if we take a look at, say, for example, any real country that isn't just a collection of military industrial complexes and pharmaceutical companies contained by a border, you would find that welfare programs actually increase economic activity. Your country produces more wealth because people can educate themselves further, and educated workers are more productive. See? Hmm? 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 Hmm.
And I'm proud to be a black man in America. Blacks have made enormous contributions.
Jason Whitlock, the guy talking, is a sports journalist, and this year called Black Lives Matter the same as the Ku Klux Klan. He also used to work for Outkick, crazy right-wing sports and political rag, and then left under some weird passive-aggressive terms. Indie native Jason Whitlock, Black Lives Matter is no different from KKK historian disagrees. You know what? I bet he's full of shit. Hey, Jason Whitlock, okay? You should put your commitment to the test, okay? And you should choose a family member that you love most. You seem to care very much about love, okay? And you should have them spend 1 week with BLM advocates and 1 week with Ku Klux Klan advocates, okay? You wouldn't take that up, would you? Because you know you're full of shit, don't you? Yeah, you know. Yeah, you know. People who say this shit know exactly how full of shit they are. Yeah. No. Absolute horseshit.
To this country. But let me tell you what our single greatest contribution has been. We have been this nation's moral conscience.
Black people?
Blacks have forced America to live up to its best ideals.
I believe this, but this is from, I'm pretty sure this language is taken directly from the, what's the project? The New York Times project? The 16, what is it? I always forget. I can't remember numbers. Come on, guys. Help me out here. The 1619 project. Is this not the language of the 1619 project? That the promises of America were a lie until black people forced them to uphold those promises? Isn't that literally the main thesis of the 1619 project? Yeah. Hold on. Can I see if I can? Well, we can't read the whole damn thing, but especially if it doesn't load. That definitely impedes our ability to see. If the thing doesn't load, that makes it less likely that we'll be able to. Okay. Is it website down? Doesn't say it's down. Oh, there we go. Hold on. There we go. I think the word forced was actually used in the... No? Oh, it's somewhere in there. It's a huge document. We can go over it sometime in the future. But I'm pretty sure that language is taken directly. Whitlock on Colin Kaepernick. Ooh. Congrats on Colin Kaepernick, social media, the 1619 Project, and all the other woke warriors who made this dream a reality. Based! While 4/5 of white Americans and 2/3 of both Hispanics and Asian Americans say that the anthem made them feel positive, a much smaller 35% of black Americans share those emotions. Damn, I wonder why black people wouldn't be made to feel super positive from the national anthem. That's so crazy to me. I wonder how this guy felt about making fun of the results of this poll and then going on to say that black people have been America's moral conscience. How do you simultaneously believe that black people have been America's moral conscience, but then say black people don't like the national anthem? Must be something wrong with them. How do you... What? Why are conservatives like this? These are obvious logical contradictions. They trip over and over again. I wish I could find the beating heart of conservatism and scream into it until the cognitive dissonance just caused it to melt. This is obvious shit. It's so stupid. You know how like in movies and video games, enemies, like the enemy faction or enemy organization is like so obviously dumb or evil, and you think like, how do these people get the necessary members? How do these people get the organizational support? How do these people get all of the support they need to mount whatever campaign or organization? But then we have real life conservatives who are unironically as fucking stupid as just plainly on the face incorrect as any. This is like Team Rocket shit. Like, how? I'm genuinely asking. I do not know. Because Whitlock is there are contradictory statements in this video. There are contradictory statements in this and this. And I can believe maybe Whitlock's a grifter, got paid $50,000 for the speaking here. Great, fine, whatever. But there are people in the comment section who just agree with this. What is wrong with their brains? I genuinely want to know. The information here isn't culturally wrong. It's objectively wrong. The contradictions here would be evident to a robot with no understanding of human culture. Okay? But the people, they just like it. They don't think. I don't see the contradiction here. I know Tron Panda TKS. That's my point. You don't. You're not capable of it. The more I see stuff like this, holy shit, the more I'm going to horseshoe theory myself into the position of like a 19th century eugenicist. Like, there's something wrong with the bumps in these people's skulls. Like, it has to be that. I don't know what else. There has to be some pressure fucking pressing down on a brain clump of theirs or something. I don't know. It's crazy to me. Oh, God. I don't know what to do, guys. Guys, can you blue pill me for a second? Hope pill me for a second. Please, explain to me how conservatives can exist without just succumbing to this nihilistic belief that there's just no intellectual activity in these people. Please, 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 please. I need it. I need an injection of help right now. And this happens in every debate that I do too, man. Every debate that I do with conservatives and every debate that I do, these are like obvious. They don't think past one or two questions into their ideology. It's insane to me. People complain about liberals. Man, most liberal positions, you can at least run the dialogue tree a while down. Even defenders of capitalism. There are nuanced arguments in favor of it. I disagree with many of them, but there are arguments. But this conservative stuff is just inapproachable to me. It's all emotional. It's all emotional. As an advocate for reaching across the aisle, I want to believe, like, oh yeah, we just have some core disagreements, but I don't actually believe that there's a difference in what we believe. I just think that conservatives haven't developed, much like a child, they haven't developed the cognitive processes to think critically, so they just adopt whatever positions are most convenient for them to defend, like, some ad hoc, like, positions that they already know they should believe because they were told to. And that's it. There's no actual critical thinking involved. They just regurgitate the arguments that they hear. This study shows they're actually just stupider. Yeah. It is true that, like, a bunch of indicators for intelligence correlate negatively with conservatism. Like, that is true across all income and racial groups. It's not like because this group or another. It's just being. And I don't think, by the way, it's a genetic thing. Like, stupid people are more likely to be conservative. I just think that conservatism makes you stupid. It teaches you not to critically think. It numbs your brain. I don't know what else to do, guy. I'm so black-pilled on this shit, man. I can't do it. I can't do it. Are they essentially stupid or it just causes it? No. I think it causes it. I do not think that stupidity makes people conservative. I fundamentally reject that. Some people are brighter than others, and that's life. I do not think that's what makes people conservative. The world is not made bad through dumb people. It's made bad through evil people. I think that conservatism makes people stupid. I think it causes people to be stupid. We don't just see it with conservatives. Well, we don't just see it with American conservatives either. Tankies fit in the exact same purview. Every time I have a conversation with, like, a tankie, they're a fucking lunatic. I'm sure they were perfectly intelligent at some point in time, and maybe in many ways other than their political beliefs they are, but they just, you know, it's just something causes those faculties to stop functioning. Are we done? I can't do anymore. Finish this point.
Our righteous pursuit of freedom, not love, compel this nation to seek and find its better self.
Okay.
It's been a long, hard road, but we're close to Dr. King's promised land.
Oh my God. I can't. All right. We have to stop. We have to stop. I can't do it. But we're close. Yeah, I'm close too. Okay, we gotta stop. Whew. Jesus. We're almost there, Vog. Nope, you can watch the video yourself. I've got limits. Hold on. If conservatism makes people stupid, what succumbs people to conservatism? Being told they should be. Most people who are... The easiest way to predict conservatism is like family values, you know? Can I come in and talk about kink at Pride? Why would you need to? I'm already right. No, that's fine. It's also like an emotion thing. Yeah, like fear of the unknown, fear of the other, that type of stuff too. All right. How about we read some donos? All right. The fuck am I looking at? Oh god, the Twitter discourse. Holy shit. All right, sorry. We can't look. All right, we're here. Hello. Abigail Thorne's latest video actually explains this really well. I can't watch Abigail Thorne's videos anymore. I can't do it because of the unfollow. We're no contact. I'm just kidding. It's actually a really good video. That's a joke. Stop. That's a really good video. I'm optics poison. Don't blame anyone else. All right. Let's read the donos. Bring him in. Bosh, please let someone come in to challenge your opinion on Pride. I agree with you, but discourse is good. No, because the problem is all the challenges to my position are pretty like poorly thought out. I've seen them levied by people online, even people that I respect, and it's always like, what about people in bikinis at the beach? What about this guy wearing leather and he's wearing like a full outfit from ankle to collarbone? It's like, but I've already addressed all of that, so we would just be going over that again, you know? Raining Trees, the incredibly kind tier 4 sub. How dare you make a 1-month subscription $40? I'm offended. Hands over cash. Yeah, you know, there are other options than the tier 4 sub, but I appreciate your desire for a yellow name. Markinator with the 2 consecutive $5 donations. Really appreciate that. How can you say dark chocolate is bitter than milk chocolate? It's so bitter you may as well just eat coffee grounds. Then just go to like 60 or 65% dark chocolate. How do I respond to people who call you a predator and a sex pest? Tell them that what I did with their mom is consensual. Okay? Pretty much what I do these days. Anarcho Punks, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Really appreciate that. Geralda Boring Trivia, thank you for the very kind $5. Yeah. Ayn Rand, of course, went on welfare herself, so. Theropunk and Alder, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. Happy 19th birthday, Theropunk. I'm sorry you don't have any friends to share your day with. But soon you will, comrade, because COVID is winding down, and after that, it's only going to get easier. Daniel Lannister and Handy Quacks, thank you for the $5 both. How much weed do you consume? Very, very little. When do you consume it? If I do, it's just before going to bed, so I can get a better sleep. Are you going to have access on the vid? I don't know what you mean, Daniel Lannister. You gave me too many typos. I'm very sorry. Crimson Kaiser, thank you for the very kind $7. You resub it, I'm still white name. Contact White Nervosa. We're trying to fix some integration stuff right now. Illa Devine and Cherry Bomb, thank you for the $5 both. Really, really appreciate that. I think we should do what's done at Mardi Gras, have areas of various degrees of sexual content, and the goers decide what they want to engage in. Yeah, you can just like segment it a little bit. Like you can just separate just a little bit, you know? Vosh, I'm itching for an actual good debate. When have I ever had a good debate? We're debating T-Jump in 2 days, and we're going on the Crystal and Kyle podcast in the day after that. If you guys want to go back to the days of me just pulling in randos from chat to argue with, do you know when I do that? Do you know when I do that? Do you know when I do that? I do that during my video game streams that only a third of you people show up for. But if you did show up for that, consistently, it's like near every video game stream, we pull people in to do random shit, okay? because you stream super late, dumbass, then stay up. Cindy, thank you for the very kind tier 2 sub. And with the $5, this shit is why my GOP friends pulled up photos of Pride to try to convince me they're all pedos and sick fucks. This has happened several times, no joke. I don't think a lot of people realize that in order for queer identities to be normalized, that means they have to be normalized, as in normal, as in they're treated normally, not as some special and distinct thing. The queer people will always be oppressed as long as their identities are a component of. We're fighting. Keep in mind, we're fighting for a world where a person being gay or trans is exactly as meaningful and important and significant as them being cis or straight. Normalized or sanitized? Normalized. I don't want straight people running around at Pride with gimp suits either. AKA boring. Dog, your sexuality isn't a personality. You're boring if that's the case. If you think like, oh, it's gonna be so boring when gay people are treated like normal, then first of all, fuck off. And second of all, grow a personality, okay? Jesus. Oh, I won't be able to run around wearing a gay pride flag cape and gay fucking flag on my cheeks and tell everyone how gay I am and gay. Yeah, okay, people are going to be... Nobody does that shit when they're straight, or at least when they do, it's kind of obnoxious and we make fun of them. So, yeah, that's what we're fucking going for here. Make sure Pride matches Vosh's sensibilities, said the pedophile to the judge. All right, homophobe. Didn't realize that my sexual proclivities around children had to meet your cultural inclinations, dude. Okay, these aren't arguments. Retro and Chill open source were Ocean Walker and Princess of Russia. Thank you for the tier 1 subs all. What an honor to have the Princess of Russia here watching. Koopa Shell, Lesbian Radical, Cadzer, thank you for the tier 1 subs. Cadzer with the tier 2 sub as well. Thank you. Slugs, the gifted tier 1 sub. Oscar the Coward, thank you for the very kind $5. I'm glad you appreciate the way I think of these things. And Sake with the $10. Thank you very, very much. Sake with the $10. Can we ban conservatives? We're the real oppressed people victim speak. Is it clearly a kink? Yes, please, God. Affinity with the $10. Do you have plans on doing a canvassing event for Nina Turner in Cleveland, Ohio? Been watching for a while. Keep up the great work. Probably not, no. If I'm going to be doing canvassing, first of all, canvassing isn't going to be an event. It's going to be a long-term thing that we put a lot of effort into. And second of all, if we're doing that, it's probably going to be a little bit closer to my home state, so I don't have to fly out 20 times to facilitate all of the canvassing. Got to do a little bit more research there. And Sake with the $10. Isn't part of Pride normalizing LGBTQIA+, so the masses, and thus is a publicity event, part outreach, part celebration? Yes, it is. Absolutely, it is. A lot of people don't want it outreach because a lot of people are doing the same gatekeeping, actually all of the queer community should only be my social club type bullshit. I actually saw people on Twitter saying that, like, capitalists shouldn't be allowed at Pride, like only queer lefties or something. Like, oh, sorry, Samantha, you know, I know that you're a trans woman and you're on the brink of suicide, but you still believe in market economics, so no Pride for you. I hate these people. I hate them so much. That got a lot of likes, too. That was like 3,000 or 4,000 likes, if I remember correctly. No, Samantha isn't going to wake up. She killed herself because all the fucking queers gatekept her because she never even had enough of a time to speak with other queer people to learn about the glory of socialism because she was gatekept from all the fucking events, okay? Okay. Let's dial the mood back a little bit. This is why some people think intersectionality is bad because dumb fucks try to use it to gay people. This is not an appropriate invocation of intersectionality. That's like saying that cars are bad because people drive them into crowds. This is like a complete bastardization of the principle of intersectionality. I mean, cars are bad, though. Yeah, but not necessarily for that reason, right? Can we all be positive? I feel like we've been so negative today. How are you guys? We're doing good? Let's finish up some donos, you know? Can't wait for this to be what conservative Twitter talks about for the next 3, maybe 4 days. Ya boy! LEGO releases new LGBTQ rainbow set. The LEGO set fits into a broader trend of major brands using Pride Month to sell rainbow-colored merchandise. There's just a buying power of nearly $1 trillion. Are we ready for my hot take? Needless pandering, fuck rainbow capitalism. It was already Lego. You can do anything in any color anyway. This is literally just like regular Lego pieces with the gay brand on it. Just like nothing's really being added or normalized here. It's like just like, oh, how can we make more money off that? Like there's not. It's highly cynical. Rainbows are pretty though. You can make rainbows out of existing Legos. You know. I mean, this isn't gonna hurt anyone, but yeah, you have to call out the cynicism. You know. It's normalization, Vosh, fuck off. Actually, I disagree. I think this would be an example of the opposite of normalization because nothing here is actually being integrated or normalized. It's literally just like, here's an existing product, slap the gay logo on it. It's distinguishing is what it is. Legos are already rainbow. Making this like a, oh, queer-friendly thing kind of makes it seem like the rest of Legos are implied to not have been. Lego fan here, there's actually a lot of exclusive parts in there with monochrome figures. Okay, I mean, if they're adding a bunch of new shit, I guess that's good. All right, well, okay, I don't know, like, the extent to it. I feel like I've seen all those models before, but yeah, okay. Look at these plebs. They don't even spray paint their own Lego colors. Honestly. Solid color figurines have never been a thing. It's still rainbow capitalism. But all right, if it's adding new pieces, then I'm less negatively inclined towards it. Okay. Just assessing the discourse. Oh, wow. Tito the Gaming God, thank you so much for the unbelievably kind $50 donation. It's so infuriating to me to see fellow Kingsters engage in such bad faith arguments. You have never been so right. Thank you very much, comrade. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I can't fathom how selfish a person has to be for them to be like, I'm just so horny for wearing BDSM fetish gear in public that I don't give a fuck how uncomfortable people are. I don't give a fuck. That's my right. And not only is it my right, it's a civil rights struggle. And you're a homophobe if you say I can't. Like, okay. All right. Bearded Dragon Dude and Kron Stop, thank you for the tier 1 subs both. Really appreciate that. Oh yeah, I should get verified on Twitter. That'd be a good meme. Raining Trees, the 2 gifted tier 1 subs. Thank you very, very much. I didn't realize there were other options beside tier 4. Rip, looks like I'm the dingus. Raining Trees, you have to scroll down from tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 to get to tier 4. What do you mean? That's the last option on the page. All right, well, I'm not complaining. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Enjoy your yellow name. God. Thank you for allowing me to... Wait, it's at the top? Is that true? Curious. Thank you all for allowing this to be my job, by the way. It's very nice of all of you. Party Plum, thank you for the very kind tier 1 sub. Absolutely, and thank you for the kind words. Sad Boy Socialist, thank you for the very kind $10. A problem with the Pride Kink discourse is emblematic of an online left issue in general. Some are too attached to being an edgy subculture. Yeah, they just want to be subversive. Peh. Windleby Dazzler and your boy Shamoy, thank you for the $5 both. I really appreciate that. Are you willing to admit that you, maybe, possibly, just maybe, are getting lost in the sauce in this one? Nobody wants to fuck in front of kids. I don't think I said fuck in front of kids at any point during that previous segment. I referred to what I was talking about. No, all the takes I was criticizing were on Twitter with like quite a bit of people supporting them. I do not think you said flashing the peepees as an example of how even if nudity isn't inherently sexual, there are ways in which nudity can be inappropriate, which I gave plenty of examples to, by the way. But I don't think that I got lost in the sauce on that one. There are plenty of people defending positions that I think are reprehensible. There was no sex, but there was mention of hardening wieners. I've been to Pride in West Hollywood. There are dudes wearing leather thongs with erections, and I do think that's inappropriate for kids. Though most of the time I saw that it was at night during the implied after-hours stuff, which I think is more acceptable, because then we've had the kids-friendly event, and now it's not, you know? I mean, Bosch went to the after hours? Yeah, of course. CJ Brown and Blame It on the Bubble, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. Yeah, seeing people call Chelsea Manning a lib for not falling in for the always online hating AOC thing is so fucking funny. Oh, hold on, we got a Mulder here. You're rich in collecting donations from fans, and donations are in quotation marks. Developing infrastructure to monetize and exploit parasocial relationships is disgusting and immoral. Hey, I'm just a believer in libertarian free will. I have a donate button. People freely choose to click on the donate button. What am I supposed to do? I actually think that in terms of monetization structures, I actually have like a super ethical one. I run ads in my videos, but I never sponsor anything or like use my power to push for a product. And there aren't actually any services or content gatekeep behind wealth. My Patreon has literally nothing on it. And you don't get anything for subscribing except for a few more emotes and stuff. You know, I feel like it's a fairly ethical model. I'm just happy people support. All right, hold on. Yankee with no brim and Dan29A, thank you for the tier 1 subs both. Oh, I will whore myself out in one way for sure, which is that you all should subscribe. We have, what is it, 9,100? We have 10,300 people watching right now, okay? Are every single one of you subbed? Have you all subbed with your alternate YouTube accounts? Better get on that too, folks. If you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the stream, please do consider subscribing. I'm feeling a boom in the future. I'm feeling really optimistic about that big fundraiser live stream. The next big event we're going to do in all likelihood is going to be canvassing for a congressional, House, or senatorial candidate. And that is going to be a lot of work, a lot of effort. It's going to be a lot of money too. My money, okay? So preemptively reward me by subscribing. Not on the website, I mean, though you can do that too. I mean subscribing the YouTube. Hit the button, click the bell, hit that bell, people, all right? That's what I'm looking for. Will it be in a red state? Details pending. 1 million YouTube subs, we do a hot tub stream, okay? By then, I should be ripped. Oh, God. I actually, guys, I'm losing weight so quick. I feel so good. It's so cool. Doing the physical therapy now, I can actually bend down to, like, pick up my cat without my back hurting, which sounds like such a trivial thing. I'm actually mad it took me so long to do physical therapy, because now it's like, oh, my God. I had the money to start doing this, like, a year ago. I could have done that. Like, would have made such a big difference. What's that bag thing behind you in the doorway? That's just a blanket that Pigeon likes to lay on. But I recently went to a store that had one of those big full wall-length mirrors, and for the first time in a long time, like, my stomach wasn't touching my shirt. You know, when you're standing up, when you're sitting, of course. But I was like, damn, you know? Oh, shit. Stuff's coming around. I apologize, Tron Panda TKS. I love you. Totally okay, Scabby's Adventures. Nobody has to subscribe if they don't want. Do you feel socialism is inevitable? No. The only thing inevitable is the heat death of the universe. It's our job to make things better till that happens. One of the strongest disagreements that I have with Marxists is their the determinism inherent to modernist ideology. That's the big one. Many paleo-Marxists, people who subscribe to the original, like the just Marx, like not much analytic theory afterwards, they're like, oh yeah, socialism is inevitable, the internal contradictions in capitalism, etc., etc. I don't actually believe that. I think that socialism is a path we can choose. Socialism or barbarism. Aren't you a determinist? In the sense that we don't have proper free will, not in the sense that one particular historical course of events is inevitable, which is a very different. But he did a lot of cool things. God, I'm so sniffly. It's so warm in here. God. Sorry, it's just warm in here. Determinism doesn't necessitate the non-belief in free will. Okay. I'm not a philosopher. It's okay. All right, hold on. We'll finish the donos, then yes. Okay. Smung with the tier 1 sub, thank you very much. King Jasper Rose, the tier 2 sub, thank you very, very much. I appreciate the support. Mecha Moogle, thank you for the gifted tier 1 sub. Skill Will and Will Hale, thank you for the $10 both. I really appreciate that. Can we talk about your milk chocolate discourse? God. Maybe. Vosh, your pride takes of the beach analogy are directly analogous to the hot tub meta on Twitch. The consent and context parts are vitally important. I completely agree. Guys, dark chocolate is better than milk chocolate. That's why dark chocolate is used predominantly in cooking and by adults, and milk chocolate is used in shitty candy bars that are mass-produced and sold at the fucking checkout aisle, okay? That's the reason why. Dark chocolate's better. Sorry. It's okay to disagree. Just understand you're living an inferior version of your potential life. Your boy Shamoy and Bat Canary, thank you for the $5 both. Really, really appreciate that. Vosh, is a baby gay, part of the reason it took me forever to accept it is because I'm a big prude and I was so uncomfortable with how sexual the community can be. Yeah, it's really, really, really fucking weird. Ooh, I'm gonna drop a hot take and then I'm gonna dip. I'm not even going to explain or clarify or anything, okay? I think the trans community online does the same thing, where a lot of really adamantly pro-trans communities are obsessively fucking horny, and I think that alienates a lot of people who could otherwise benefit from that community without but they're not interested in like all the super like sex stuff. Like from Discord servers to subreddits, a lot of these, it's like, it feels like if you're a pro-trans community, you have to post memes where it's like anime girls getting railed or like femboys with like big plump ass. It's like, but like all of them, you know? It's so weird. And most of the trans support communities that don't have the sexual memes get like 4 followers. You know what I mean? It's really, really, really weird. I think it's okay to have sexual trans communities. Yeah, I'm saying that, but they're like all that way. And I think that can ostracize some people. There are a lot of, not all trans people are like, what was the impression Natalie gave? Girl dick, nya, nya. Like, there are all sorts of trans people. They're not all like, always online Discord anime watching thigh high key sock programmer, like that kind of stuff, you know? Just I'm not clarifying anymore. Cringe Leaks, thank you for the incredibly kind $20. Can this nudity thing apply to stuff like art, like a nude/horny statue is public or something, like a risque character design for video games? Well, we do have like ratings on video games for like what, like M-rated, T-rated, that kind of stuff. For like art, I maintain there's a difference between like a person being nude in public, a human being being nude in public, and like a painting of a human being being nude. Like there's a really, really big difference to me in that. The main one being interactive, okay? Because the potential for abuse with a painting is 0. It's just a painting of a nude person. That's it. That's the only thing that it can be. But there are a million ways that a nude person in public can make people uncomfortable. And you all know that, okay? You all know that. If you guys are walking down a main city street and you see like a big Renaissance art painting of like a woman naked covering her breasts, and you see like a person in real life just standing there naked, like those are 2 very, very different things, you know? Like these are, you know this. These are situations that immediately warrant different responses. Like, yeah, like very, very different type of deal. Yeah. What should age limits be for certain types of content? Like what child actually followed the PG-13 rating? Nobody actually follows those ratings, and I don't think you like break a kid's brain if a kid sees a tit in a movie or anything like that. I'm only talking about like IRL discourse and the potential for normalizing, you know, or making appropriate for kids in those spaces. Also, keep in mind, there's a really, really big difference between the statement, a child's brain is harmed by seeing a naked tit, and it's inappropriate to have your tits out at a kid's venue. Those are 2 very different. Inappropriateness is culturally determined. It's not the same level. Like for example, I'm an adult. I'm not harmed by seeing a guy masturbating on the subway at all. I don't have any trauma that's triggered by it. I don't have any like particular aversion to the human body. I even like dicks. So you'd think there'd even be a bias there. But I still don't think that's appropriate at all. Even if it doesn't hurt me, I still don't think it's okay to do. So we're not talking about whether or not the kid is harmed. We're talking about whether it's appropriate. Does that make sense? Okay, I just want to say, you just don't do that in public. Just do it while looking at hentai like all other normal human beings. Do you have a nervous leg, or why do you always look like you're riding a horse? Oh, I bounce my leg. Yeah. That makes sense though, right? Like, I think that makes sense. Are we doing any more segments today? Yes, we are. We're just chilling a little bit. We're chilling, okay? We're chilling, we're grilling. We're a midnight toker, okay? You have a horse down there? Yeah, if only. Yeah, but it's just differences contextually in how this stuff goes. I'm sure you all understand. But in terms of what's acceptable to show to kids, I think that if you're a responsible parent, most stuff kids can experience. Like, I'm trying to think of all the video games that I've played. Which video games would I not want? Are we talking like 13 years old or 10 years old or something? Let's say 10, because 13, I feel like if you're 13 years old and your parent is raised you well, you should be able to handle pretty much any medium. Like playing Doom or I don't know, a video game or whatever. So let's say 10. 10. I'm trying to think. GTA definitely has some content that's not appropriate for under 12s. The thing is, what's inappropriate for kids feels really contextual to me because I would rather have my kid play GTA San Andreas offline than play GTA 5 online. In fact, I feel like I'm more comfortable with my kid playing an M-rated game than them being on Discord. Like, I actually think that exposure to other humans online is significantly worse for people's brain than I actually think that for a 10-year-old, I would be more comfortable letting them play literally like any video game offline, like horror games, violent game, even games with like sexual content, than I would have them be online, like going on Reddit or Twitter or whatever. I think I believe that. Yeah. I feel like the internet just shouldn't be accessible to kids. Maybe this is me being like, I don't know, prudish or something, but because when I was a really young kid, when I was in like middle school, the only online stuff, okay, 2011 was when I graduated from high school. So back in like middle school or elementary school, that would have been like 8 years before. So 2003, 2004. Back in those days, yeah, you had like MySpace and stuff. I used AOL Messenger. If I wanted to talk to somebody, I had to like share email addresses to use them with like the AOL Messenger thing. And like your ability to interact with people, yeah, MSN as well, was really, really limited. Like your ability to meet new people back then was gate kept. Usually the way you met people was there would be a bunch of niche online forums for people with a particular hobby, and then you would like get to be friends with people from posts there, and then you would share like AIM messenger tags or whatever, and that kind of stuff, you know? And then you would like share, and then you would talk that way. And I don't think I ever met like a groomer online when I was a kid. Because when you're online, you're anonymous. Like nobody knows like age or gender unless you make it evident. I don't think I ever had an interaction with a person who was creepy until I got old enough that I was an adult and I was noticing other people doing it to other people. So maybe I didn't notice it when I was a kid. I played a lot of WoW when I was a kid too. But my experiences with WoW, that World of Warcraft was the first time I had unrestricted access to a broader demographic of people talking. And my experiences there were just positive, actually. I actually have really fond memories of early WoW playing back during the beta and onward because people on were really, 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 really friendly. What the fuck is a WoW? World of Warcraft. People were really, really friendly. You would just like run around Durotar or like the Barrens or Ashenvale, and you'd chat with people in like /1, the general chat, and it was actually really, really cool. And everyone there was really friendly. I had like this little guild that they didn't do anything, but I remember when my pet guinea pig died, I was like really sad about it, but you could only mourn so much for one day. So afterwards I played a bit with them and they were just like really comforting, like, "Oh, that sucks, man." And they didn't really know my age or anything about me. They were just nice, you know? So that stuff's really, really good. The problem is the older the internet has gotten, the more consolidated it's gotten too, in every way imaginable. No longer do we have like these little miniature forums online that you have to like know a guy to know about. Now everything is Twitter, everything is Reddit, everything is Facebook. And there are subgroups and all these giga websites that contain all that stuff. And I feel like the predatory elements of the internet have only gotten more prominent with time. I don't have data on that, but I feel like that's true. Does anyone else feel that way? You know? That the internet is more replete with people, because the internet's done a lot of good stuff too. Like if you're a young gay kid or whatever, or like trans, then the internet's kind of vital for you because odds are your immediate community isn't very supportive, and it gives you an opportunity to talk about some shit with people without like risking your IRL reputation with family and friends. And that's good. That's a good thing. I wonder how much of it is parasocial stuff too. Cuz was there somebody on stream recently who was talking about this? I feel like I was recently talking on stream with somebody like this, or no, I was on a Prime K's debate panel a couple nights ago and I wasn't streaming. And there was somebody saying that if they had a kid, they would be more worried about their kid worshiping Jake Paul than they would their kid like watching porn at a young age. And that sounded really like always online at first to me, but I think in retrospect, that actually might be a good point. The parasocial thing fucking obliterates kids' brains, you know? Yeah, but everything is geared after that now, too. Because it used to be, like, even with porn sites, when you went on a porn site, it was like these big aggregate sites that would pull photos and videos from other stuff, and that was it, you know? But now, on the porn sites, there's, like, ads all the time, and it's like, hey, you're sexy, come check out this chat link, and kids don't know shit. So I feel like a lot of the danger on the internet is convincing vulnerable people that people who don't care about them care about them. I think that's the most dangerous thing for kids because it feels like so much bad shit follows downhill from that. That's where grooming and parasocial relationships all stem from. It's this projected fake like friendship, which is really and now there's all the conspiracism stuff too. Like if there was a kid, like if I had a son and he was 12 and he went online, could I teach him meaningfully the reason why flat earther arguments aren't valid? Like meaningfully, not just tell him that it's wrong, but how well could I explain to him the ways in which it's necessary to think critically about information you're presented? Maybe you could get it on flat earth, but what about vaccine denial? Or what about COVID denialism? Or what about Donald Trump, the election, that kind of stuff, you know? You know what I mean? That'd be really, really, really tough. Really, really tough to do. Not to mention all the like ways that people try to pull kids over to the conservative positions. Just don't reproduce, forehead. Well, I guess that does skip the problem, huh? If they're 12, it'd be easier than if they're like 15. There's one thing that I know for sure, and it's that if you're like under 10, you shouldn't have internet access. Or if you should, it's like Nintendo games, where like internet access is you play online games and like you have like 3 buttons and one is like, hi, you know, nice game. Better luck next time. Like that kind of stuff, you know? I feel like that's, yeah. Damn, I think I underappreciate Nintendo systems. Now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like that's so valuable. Because for me, this has always been a pain in the ass. Like Nintendo Online, Omega Lol. Like, oh, they're multiplayer games, Omega Lol, you know? But I feel like if I was actually a parent, that would be like super, super valuable to me. You know? Yeah. I got exposed to fucked shit at 12. Kids should have restricted access. Yeah, and then there's like Pain Olympics or all the like Goatsy or whatever, like Syrian beheading videos or whatever shit you can find online these days, which kids will look up because they are curious. They will do anything and everything in their power to expose themselves to media they know you do not want them seeing. And really, a sufficiently intelligent and tech literate kid is never going to be deterred by blockers. There's always a way around them. I mean, I knew kids back in middle school who would install keyloggers on their parents' computer so that they could learn what the passwords were to unlock the parental protections on their computer because they knew their parent would save that info on their. So it's like, and this kid was like 11 or 12 or something. Like there's no way your average parent is going to be able to get around that stuff. If you're a tech literate parent, you probably could, but most parents aren't going to be. I genuinely don't know. I know this much, though. when it comes to like what I'm afraid of my kids seeing, violent video games and movies is not it. That's so far from my concerns. Like that's so unimaginably far away from the stuff that would worry me, you know? And what are most M-rated games anyway? Most M-rated games are made for 12-year-olds anyway, like Call of Duty, like just, oh my god, there's a blood spray when you headshot. Oh god. I think there actually is evidence that violent video games have a negative effect on young people if overexposed to it. It doesn't make them more violent. It makes them more desensitized to violence, which can have effects on other beliefs like, well, here's a contentious one. How bad do you think rape is? It doesn't make you say you have a game with a lot of like abuse or whatever. It doesn't make you more likely to rape people, but it may mean you're more dismissive of those experiences when they happen to other people and you hear about them. And that's not good at all. Yeah. Now, of course, that doesn't mean your kid should never see violent whatever. I feel like a lot of it can be countered with a really good education, though. I feel like I could do that with a kid. You know, I feel like I could educate a kid pretty well with that kind of stuff. You know, or maybe like play it with them a little bit. Feels like a stretch. No, there's data on it, as far as I remember. I feel like if you educate well, like here's an example, right? Also, some violent games are not like other violent games. I would rather have a kid play a Resident Evil game than a Call of Duty game because Call of Duty not only it has a lot of like political overtones that I disagree with, but the violence is against humans, whereas in Resident Evil, I mean, you're killing zombies. Okay, everyone can get behind that. That's fairly uncontroversial conceptually, you know? Yeah, I think that would be like better. And you could like play it with them too. Yeah, like if you're I remember playing Resident Evil 4 with my younger brother. You guys remember RE4? I played it on stream before, a long time ago. And Resident Evil 4, you're fighting like zombie parasite dudes and you're in like some Spanish village or whatever, but it's a great game. And when I first got it, my parents got it for me because I did really good in school that year, and they promised me one M-rated game at the time. I must have been like 11 years old or 12 years old or something. And my brother was like 7 or 8 at the time. My brother's about 4.5 years younger than me. And he would watch it with me. And I am and always have been a big baby. Stuff scares the shit out of me. It just always has. If anyone who watches my video game streams, you see, I just get startled really, really easily. So anyway, I was playing this, and my brother wanted to watch, and my parents didn't want my brother to watch because he was 7. They knew it was a violent game, but my parents didn't know. My parents didn't know that RE4 was a classic. I mean, they just do, oh yeah, it's a zombie game, okay. But my brother would watch when my parents weren't home, and he would watch with me. And I remember, does anyone remember the beginning of RE4? Does anyone remember? Okay, where you fight the one zombie, and then you walk towards the village, and there are a couple of like shacks that you pass by with items in them, and in one of the shacks, one of the zombie villagers is pinned to the back wall with a pitchfork. The woman pinned the face by the face to the pitchfork to the wall, and you don't see it when you walk in. You walk in the shack, you grab a couple items, and then you turn around, and she's right there pinned. Now, that one spooked the shit out of me when I was a kid. I was like, oh, I'm scared, you know. My brother loved it, though. My brother loved it. And he was like, let's play more. And I was like, no, that's enough. And I'm like 2 minutes in the game. I'm like an 11-year-old kid. My little brother was less of a beta baby than I was with that. Hold on. What about Dark Souls? Well, a kid probably wouldn't be able to do much in Dark Souls anyway, but Dark Souls, there's nothing in Dark Souls that I would think gives like an inappropriate message to a kid, right? Like, you like wander around castles fighting like monsters? Yeah, I mean, I guess there's blood when you hit things, but it's like gruesome looking, but yeah. Yeah, it's adult in other ways. It's not adult because it's like gratuitous. It's adult because its themes I think would only really be appreciated by. Also, it's pretty hard to play unless you're older. Yeah, kids wouldn't even get the existential despair. Kids are dumb, dude. When you finish Dark Souls for the first time, you're like, oh my god, it's all been meaningless. The cycle continues. There was no point to any of this. The cycle of light and dark continues unabated by my actions. I am not but kindling for a flame. And the kid's just like, I beat the beard man. I'm on fire. Ah! You know? So I feel like the resonant themes really aren't gonna... Oh, it's good. It's good. Anyway, I don't know. If I ever had a kid, Berserk, I don't think kids should read that. Kids wouldn't want to read Berserk. Kids have trouble reading these days anyway, from all fucking overstimulated everyone is. I don't think kids tend to read comics that as much as they used to, at least. And Berserk is not an easy comic to read either. It's not bright and colorful. It's text dense, and like huge sections of it are dedicated to like large men frowning. It depends on how old we're talking. I don't think a 10-year-old would be interested in Berserk. Maybe like 14 or 15-year-old? I don't know. If you're 14 or 15, I guess it's fine, right? You sound like such a boomer when you complain kids don't read like they used to. Well, nobody does. Humans read less now than they used to. We have more types of media, which is fine. I'm not some book purist or anything like that. As long as people are consuming artistic medium that causes them to think and reflect in their life, then I think that's great. Yeah, I don't care if it's manga, if it's I don't care. I really don't care what it is. I'm not a purist in any form. I will say this much though. Oh god, this is going to make me sound like a real boomer, okay? I do think there's value in types of media that encourage imagination. This can be reading. This can be playing Dungeons and Dragons. This can be a lot of stuff like that. Okay? Who would disagree with that? Well, different types of media encourage different levels. When you're reading a book, you construct everything in your own mind. Okay? When you're reading a book, I remember when I was a kid reading Aragon, which was like a fun, like poppy, you know, a high fantasy adventure story, you know, written by a kid, by the way. Very good writing for a kid. A lot of ideas in there that I liked. But anyway, it's shit now. No, I don't mean I just mean the books. And anyway. I remember reading that back when I was a kid, and the world you construct when you're reading is just so visceral. I've also been reading lately Lovecraft, because I love everything that's been inspired by him, so I may as well. And a lot of the writing hasn't dated very well. There are, you know, maybe had a few political disagreements. But like Shadow over Innsmouth, can I get like a segment? Do you mind if I read a passage really, really quickly? I just want to, let me see if I can find like a good, a very descriptive paragraph, if I would. Hold on. Chapter select. This has turned into a book club. Oh, hush, hush, hush. Just let me see if I can find something. Because the thing that, oh, here we go. Okay, here. I'm just going to read 2 paragraphs, okay? The reason why I'm doing this is because I want you to, like, think about what you're hearing, and I want you to imagine it, okay? Is that fine? What's wrong with book clubs? Just listen for a second, please, okay? Now, if this was a comic, you would just be given an image. If this was an animation, you would just be given an image. But this is what's described, okay? So, the protagonist is looking now at a little museum exhibit. It took no excessive sensitiveness to beauty to make me literally gasp at the strange, unearthly splendor of the alien opulent fantasy that rested there on the purple velvet cushion. Even now I can hardly describe what I saw, though it was clearly enough a sort of tiara, as the description had said. It was tall in front, with a very large and curiously irregular periphery, as if designed for a head of almost freakishly elliptical outline. The material seemed to be predominantly gold, though a weird, lighter lustrousness hinted at some strange alloy with an equally beautiful and scarcely identifiable metal. Its condition was almost perfect, and one could have spent hours in studying the striking and puzzling untraditional designs, some simply geometric, others plainly marine, chased or molded in high relief on its surface with a craftsmanship of incredible skill and grace. The longer I looked, the more the thing fascinated me, and in this fascination there was a curiously disturbing element hardly to be classified or accounted for. At first I decided it was the queer otherworldly quality of the art which had made me uneasy. All other art objects I had ever seen either belonged to some known national stream or were either consciously modernistic defiances of every recognized stream. This tiara was neither. It clearly belonged to some settled technique of infinite maturity and perfection, yet that technique was utterly remote from any, Eastern or Western, ancient or modern, which I had ever seen or seen exemplified. It was as if the workmanship were that of another planet. We're almost done now. However, I soon saw that my uneasiness had a second and perhaps equally potent source residing in the pictorial and mathematical suggestion of the strange designs. The patterns all hinted of remote secrets and unimaginable abysses in time and space, and the monotonously aquatic nature of the reliefs became almost sinister. Among those reliefs were fabulous monsters of abhorrent grotesqueness and malignity, half ichthyaic and half batrachian in suggestion, which one could not dissociate from a certain haunting and uncomfortable sense of pseudo-memory, as if they called up some image from deep cells and tissues whose retentive functions were wholly primal and awesomely ancestral. At times I fancied that every contour of these blasphemous fish frogs was overflowing with the ultimate quintessence of unknown and inhuman evil. Now, I apologize for anyone who found that uninteresting, but I hope you can understand that if you were, let me get back to the page I was at previously, if you were just reading a comic or watching an animation, that would just be like, the shot would linger on that for a second. But that was good. And you thought too, like when you're thinking, it's like, it's you're being led through the exploratory process of the author. That was really long. Well, Lovecraft likes his descriptions. No, it wasn't. It was too self-indulgent. Well, regardless of your preferences for the particular writing style of Lovecraft, okay, I'm only pointing out that there are things that you get from imaginative media which you don't necessarily get from media which puts all the pieces in front of you. For an animation or a TV show or a movie or what have you, for the most part, everything you're looking at is right there in front of you. It's there. You're looking at it. But when you're reading something, you have to do a little bit of work yourself. Same with D&D. It's one of the reasons why I really, really, really like Dungeons & Dragons. You have that power. So anyway, I just think the kid should... Can you not slam the door?
I didn't mean to.
Just let it just grab the handle.
Dude, it was the wind.
The window's closed. The window's open? Yeah, no, I thought so. The wind. You're the wind.
It really, I didn't mean to.
I bet.
Okay, shut up.
Anyway, the point that I'm trying to get at is I think that you should encourage children to develop their imaginations because I think it's healthy for them. And it's one of the reasons why Dungeons & Dragons is cool, I think. Okay, are we good? Did we do it? I didn't mean for this to turn into some big thing. I was just... Okay, we're good. Let me finish the goddamn donos. Okay? And we can continue. Professor Studs, thanks the tier 1 sub. Happy to see you're back in the orange name. Tiki Shades, thank you for the very kind $10. Gray Merchant, thank you for the very kind tier 2 sub. Thank you for the kind words, comrade. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the very kind $10. True, Tito the Gaming God with the tier 4 sub. Thank you very, very much, comrade. I really appreciate that. Gareko and Allison Grinder, thank you for the $5 both. Very much appreciated. Where can I find that shirt, Yamaro? Isn't it like !town or something like that? That sort of thing. Yeah, town. There you go. That gets you the shirts. I'll say this much. After having read now just Shadow over Innsmouth, I actually think that almost every adaptation of Lovecraft has been an inferior replication of the modes and attitudes evoked by it, with only a few exceptions. The main thing that really bothers me is that a lot of inspirations from Lovecraft do the show rather than tell thing. But being shown the infinite abyss, it kind of takes away from its... The point is that you shouldn't be able to comprehend it. The point of pretty much every Lovecraft story is that comprehending the unknown destroys you. So, you know? There are exceptions, of course. I mean, I love Bloodborne. The Thing is not Lovecraft, but it's a good Eldritch adaptation. Oh, The Thing is lovely, of course. Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily Lovecraftian. Yeah, Lovecraft is just hard to adapt. I mean, telling, not showing is pretty much what you have to do for a novel, so adapting it out of that is pretty tough. This Pokemon adaptation is going to be playing at Times Square. What? Oh no. This is a minute long? I feel like I'm going to get copyright striked if I look at this. We'll see. Brutalist Dude? I'm not familiar, I'm afraid. Thank you for the $5. Furry Throwaway, thank you for the $5. Are fursuits inherently sexual and thus shouldn't be worn at Pride? Maybe I don't think that fursuits are inherently sexual. I think they're inherently degenerate, but I respect all degeneracy, okay? Most importantly, fursuits are fully clothed. In fact, there is no more full clothing than fursuits, so yeah, I think they're fine. I mean, I think they're degen, but you know. Matthew H25 and Paul the Robin, thank you for the $5 both. I really, really appreciate that. Paul the Robin, sorry you've been bombarded by turfs, comrade. It's rough out there. Lindsay Lamb's lost everything. Lindsey Graham, sorry. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the incredibly kind $10. True Lucy Lightfang, thank you for the tier 2 sub. Dilunu, thank you for the $5. Please clarify if you think poly is a kink. I think you misspoke earlier because it sounded like you thought it was a kink. No, poly isn't a kink, but I think there are a lot of public demonstrations of poly that fall into the kink itself. Also, speaking as a person who is poly isn't just the way you like to do relationships. Poly in and of itself, being poly, is something that gives a lot of gratification to people who are poly. It's not just acting on being poly, it's the knowledge and the presence of being poly. The contextualization within a broader social discourse. That doesn't make it a kink, but there are ways to express that inappropriately in public. Please explain furries. I literally don't understand. I'm not a furry, so I don't know. Schubert Do, thanks to the tier 1 sub. Thank you for the kind words, comrade, and no problem. Yogurt Man, we're calming down with the anger now. Thank you very, very much. Shark Snack, thanks to $10. Review the Gravel Institute video. Maybe, I haven't seen it. T Squatch, thank you for the very kind $10. Would you consider doing your canvassing in opposition to Kshama Sawant's recall? As unfortunate as that is, no, I want to go a little bit bigger than City Council for this. Athena Samurai and Pixel Motor, thank you for the $5 both. I really, really, really appreciate that. I try my best, Pixel Motor. Kowalski from Nebraska, thanks for the 777. Can I come on during a video game stream to talk modern agricultural? No, thank you. I appreciate the offer, comrade, but I bring people on for debates, not conversations. And I mean real debates, like, not a fan of mine who has a couple of issues with, like, something or the other. I mean a proper debate. Sake with a very kind $10. Bayonetta never booba-pilled anyone into Russian psych ward and Lobster Daughter. True. Yeah, speaking of, like, what I have a problem with my kids seeing, I don't think, like, Bayonetta would be, like, a huge problem. I don't know. It's like kink shit or whatever, but if they're, like, 12 and they're like, oh my god, naked hair lady, like, that, to me, I feel like all the ills in the world that you could find in video games are contained and multiplied within, like, a single Discord server worth of social interaction. You know what I mean? Drunk Nihilism, thank you for the very kind tier 2 sub. Yes, I'm a big fan of the SCP Foundation. I think there's some very nice creative writing projects going on over there. Lazy Skiki Wikiki, thank you for the very kind $5. I'll try to read all of Lovecraft. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Thank you. Far Eastern Myth, the 2 gifted tier 1 subs. Getting back into the SCP universe has helped me back into writing. You should check it out if you're not familiar with it, as it's some Lovecraft inspired. Yeah, no, I do like SCP, and it's funny that that I'd get 2 donations to that effect in the row. Kakens, thanks to $10. What's your quickest take on why transitioning should be retroactive? Huh? I.e. Elliot Page, a man, is the model for Ellie, a female? You mean like people are still the current gender they identify as, even in the past before they were out as that? I guess it would really depend on context. Also, I've talked with trans people, and I feel like I get mixed answers on this. Some of them, if it's known that they're trans, like say they're a trans woman, and it's like they have to describe something that took place when they're 10, if describing that, you would say like she. but the trans person themselves sometimes says, yeah, I was a boy back then. So it's, I think this is just a quirk of grammar. I think I would defer to the preferences of the person that I was speaking about, and if I didn't know their preferences, then I would defer to referring to their past self as their current gender identity. Oh goodness, you people. Wayward, Yid and Kowalski from Nebraska, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. I'm not poly, but I am ambidextrous, which means I'm often invited to broken circle jerks. Nice. No thanks, Kowalski from Nebraska. We're based in Vegan Pilled over here. Scarlet Death, thanks to the tier 1 sub. Neon Binary Gang, True, and Sake Tanuki with a very kind $20. I'm honestly shocked the US government didn't pull an Ender's Game with gamers and give them drone controls while telling them it's just a game. That might unironically be in our future, you know. The US government and the army have been gamifying military training for a while now. It's possible that we might get something to that vibe in the future. All right, get to the goddamn segment, people. Holy shit. Have you seen military ads these days? It's funny you mention that. All right, everyone. It's time for us to learn how cucked the U.S. military is. Russian Army ad versus U.S. Army ad. Are you ready to engage in some analysis? Let's go. All right? That's a quote from DeBaby, known sociologist. Now, by the way, I just want to point out one thing off the bat, okay? One thing off the bat, all right? If you think that a military's advertisements determine the strength of its military, then you have an infant's pea brain, okay? Then you are so susceptible to advertising that it's not even funny. The United States has the strongest military on Earth. There is no getting around that. It's just funny. There are a lot of people. I mean, you can tell what the vibe's going to be. Like, you know what's going to happen here, I think. But, yeah. Ooh, looking into this guy. Let's go.
Что ты знаешь о себе? На что ты способен? Вопросы могут остаться без ответов, но разве ты сумел знать себя? Познать границы своих возможностей? К черту границы, а без боя нет победы. На самом деле, главный враг — это задача выследить.
Look at this LARPy shit, dude. When was the last time Russian soldiers paratrooped anywhere? All right.
Главный враг — это задача выследить врага, догнать его, превзойти, стать лучше, чем он.
It begins in...
Okay, here we go. That was Russia. Now get ready for some... What's the rainbow? Oh, Crimea. I don't know. Maybe they did. I don't know. It's just funny to me. This looks like a video game trailer. Like, this looks exactly like a video game trailer. Look at this. Jesus. Anyway, all right. Now get ready for some gay shit, okay?
It begins in California with a little girl raised by two moms. I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age. To marry my other mom. With such powerful role models, I finished high school at the top of my class. And after meeting with an Army recruiter, I found it. A way to prove my inner strength. I'm U.S. Army Corporal Emma Malone Lord, and I answered my calling.
Okay. We have now, the American ad got shortened a little bit, but we have now successfully engaged in a vibe check. Yeah. That was so cringe. These are both cringe. Oh yeah, these are both equally gay, by the way. Hold on, I said this gay. This is also gay, okay? Look at all these fucking hunks laying together. Look at this guy. See that bulge right? That's not his knee, okay? They're just all in the boys club right now, okay? They're both equally cringe for like different reasons here. I feel like a lot of people, they skip by this, but man, first of all, I need to repeat this. If you're looking at this and you're thinking like the American military is so cucked, the Russian military is so strong, which is, by the way, the general attitude people are taking. I mean, look, pick your fighter, and it's like a muscly guy, and then there's like a girl. Isn't this is before she even joined the military, so it feels like an unfair comparison. But anyway, like, you know, back and forth, you know, like pick your fighter. Oh, see? Oh, here we go. I know this person. And yet the U.S. military is still better, really makes you think. 400 comments. Oh, God. Okay, we got to talk about this. First of all, okay, the Russian government has been decaying for decades now, okay? The reason why the Russian government is putting out propaganda like this is because they've long since decided that the best way to consolidate the national interest is through fascism, okay? The Russian military is, yeah, a bunch of poorly trained conscripts. Their gear, they're underfunded, they're undertrained, the country is in decline, and in their decline, they're like, yeah, dude, if you want to be a man's man, get on over there. There are also plenty of U.S. Army ads that are the man's man type thing. You've all seen them, right? I'm not making this shit up, you know? Plenty of Army advertisements where you see fucking Vin Diesel with, like, paint on his face in the Middle East, like, giving a thumbs up at a 4-year-old Afghan child or something. Like, you know, there's plenty of shit like that. Though, admittedly, usually the Army Strong ads aren't LARPy enough to literally show fucking soldiers paratrooping in or whatever. It's just, yeah. The National Guard ads are super LARPy. A lot of LARPing going all around, okay? So that's the reason why the Russian ad is this way, okay? Russia has been declining for a long time, and fascism is one of the easiest ways to prop up a declining, you know, group, a declining national interest. When your economy's in the toilet, when you're nationally feared and disrespected, when your leaders are corrupt, when the people in your country have no opportunities, what do? Convince them that gays are what's wrong with the country. Convince them that this is what's wrong. This is what's wrong. You want to be strong, manly man, serve your country? This is what you do. I posit to you a counter-argument. Nothing is more cucked than believing you have to serve your country. Oh, yes, sir. I know how to prove my gender identity. Oh, what if I go and die in Afghanistan? I'm going to spend 8 years of my life training my body so its physique resembles the man I saw on TV before I get hit in the head from 600 yards away by a Taliban insurgent. Yeah! Like, okay. Extremely cucked, by the way. Yeah. You're essentially making the United States your bull, okay? And the thing that you love that is getting fucked by the bull is your lifespan, okay? That's what's happening, all right? You're jerking off watching your lifespan get deep-dicked by the United States government, all right? Or the Russian government, as it were. But what you have here, on the other hand of things, is the other strategy, okay? You have the reverse strategy, which I like this too, okay? And this is like the CIA advertisement that we saw, you know what I mean? It's like, I was a little girl, 2 moms, I married them, I'm a pride activist, I graduated in gender studies, and I was at Stonewall, oh my God, I just loved them all so much, and then I joined the army. God, what a glow down. Look at this. Look at this nice lady. Disgusting. The cuck. The art looks good, though. It's the U.S. military. They can afford an advertising budget of whatever amount they want. Look, the point here is that the U.S. government is going in the opposite direction. How do you consolidate the strength of a country? I'm asking you guys. Imagine you're Grand Poobah, okay? How do you consolidate the strength of a country? Well, you can go the fascist route, but that's not the route the American government, certainly not under Democrats, is taking at the moment. In fact, as ostensibly fascist as the Republican political body has been, the institutions in America have generally gotten more progressive in their aesthetic. Whether we're talking, you know, the 3-letter organizations, you know, CIA, FBI, NSA, whether we're talking the military, whether we're just the institutions that met American power, these are, well, they're trying to appeal to a broader group of people. Think of it like regular advertising. Why do companies advertise to girls? Why do Lego? Why do they do this? Well, the reason why is because they want to make money. You know, why does Nike do the BLM thing? They want to make money. You get that through controversy, and you get that through appealing to markets that you didn't previously have much of a stake in. That was one of the things Gillette tried to do as well, you know? Not only is it controversy bait, it's trying to make their brand more approachable to your modern progressive American type. And by the way, the majority of Americans are progressive. Broadly, they're on the progressive side of things. Whether you're talking BLM, whether you're talking, you know, trans issues or whatever, the majority of Americans are on our side, maybe not as far left as we are, but generally speaking, then why are we losing? We're not. Every single year we gain new ground with public acceptance. We're not losing by any metric. On a progressive front, it has been a nonstop roller coaster ride of success for us. That doesn't mean it's not hard. It's very difficult. It doesn't mean that we're not fighting. It doesn't mean we don't have to keep trying. We do. But it means we're doing good. And all that stuff can backslide given the wrong conditions. So don't get complacent. Now, anyway, why do they do that? They want to make themselves marketable to a broader demographic. Now, what is the U.S. Army doing here? The exact same goddamn thing. They want recruits, and they're not going to be able to maintain an acceptable number of recruits if they exclusively appeal to the largest demographic of people who go and sign up, which actually isn't poor people, believe it or not. The largest demographic of people who sign up, proportionally speaking, are actually like white suburban types, you know, like the these colors don't run, gotta serve my country, oorah type shit. You know, conservative like white boys who grew up saying that they were when they were like 17 years old in their junior year of high school, they demanded people treat them with the respect of a vet because they were in pre-boot camp or something like that. That type of guy. That's actually disproportionately the type of group, yeah, that you see. Semper Fi! You're talking to the girlfriend of a future Marine, bucko. I want my Ross Dress for Less discount now. Yeah, that kind of stuff, you know? Anyway, that's the demographic that gets disproportionately represented in these shithole communities. So they want to expand beyond that. One of the big optics losses the U.S. military has right now is that it's considered kind of a boys' club, and if you're a girl who signs up, you get, like, raped, which does happen a lot. So what does the Army want to do? Well, it want to make it seem like, you know, hey, this isn't just a bunch of conservative boys. Actually, you know, everyone gets in here. So we do advertisements like this, you know? And, I mean, will it work? I don't know. I'll say this much. First of all, I don't want any of you people signing up for the military, okay? Unless we're talking, unless America's in peacetime and all you're going to be doing is sitting on a reserve base, doing push-ups and jerking each other off for 4 years, then you come home and get a free college education, okay? That's the condition. That's the ethical time, okay? What if you serve as a medic? I'm being a little bit reductive right now. In reality, it's actually good for leftists to be in the military. And it's not like not having enough people in the military is going to lead to fewer wars. You think of like, let's say lefties stop signing up for the military, like flat out, even progressives. So what? Military's population drops 20%. They just fill that up with mercenaries who are worse, way worse. They also cost a lot more money. So in reality, the cogs of the military-industrial complex tick on no matter what you do. Just whatever you're doing, we don't like the cogs of the military-industrial complex. We don't like the cogs. Can we agree on that? Whether they move or don't move, we don't like them. We can all agree. That's fine. We're good on that. Nice. Mercs commit shitloads of war crimes, then brag about it internally. Yeah, they're not very accountable to our system. Well, anyway. This might be a bad question, but does that mean you want more lefties to become cops? I don't have an issue with lefties becoming cops. This is something that's always been controversial when I've said it, but if there's an open cop position in a city, it's gonna be filled by somebody. Somebody will fill it, okay? Guaranteed. If a lefty fills it, I'm not saying they're gonna be able to, like, destroy the system from inside or whatever. That's not gonna happen. But there's a possibility that there are some edge cases where the lefty could conceivably do a little bit better, maybe a little bit better for some people in some situations. And if enough people do it, that might be the bedrock of at least some cities having internal accountability that can lead to broader change. Now, does that mean we should all, like, flood the police recruitment? No. I'm not making prescriptive judgments here. I just don't have a problem with lefties joining the police. Also, again, if shit ever really goes down, do you want it to only be conservatives in military and police? Like, if things ever really go to shit, I would actually really prefer it if there were a lot of progressive and left-leaning people in both of those institutions. That would just be my preference. I mean, whatever, they have the keys to the armory. It's like working for Amazon or something. Well, not really, because when you work for Amazon, you just do the work. I mean, when you're working for Amazon, there's not like some civil unrest you might have the potential to sway in the future, and you also don't have much control over whether or not good or bad is done. You just sit in the factory and pee your pants, right? Whatever. The point is, both of these advertisements are soy face. I'm soying at both, okay? Because both of them are trying to convince people to sacrifice their lives for a military-industrial complex that doesn't give a fuck about them. They're just doing it using different propaganda. And anyone who thinks this is more cringe than this, I strongly disagree. Can you imagine the drooling, frothing at the mouth little fucking little beta cucks looking at this Russian military ad and thinking like, that's me, I'm a real man, like, Jesus, you know? And then maybe there are some woke girl bosses over here who are like, I'm gonna defend freedom abroad with my military. It's soy all around, folks. I'm soying right here. I'm soying. You understand? I'm just saying that these are two sides of the same coin, okay? Really, they are. And they're certainly not reflective of the broader strength of each military, because the American military is vastly superior to the Russian military. So if we're not talking relative military qualities, we're just talking about styles of propaganda. And frankly, I'm happy to live in a country where corporations and the government get more mileage out of progressive virtue signaling than fascist virtue signaling. I think that's better. Yeah. If I'm going to have to deal with cynical, id-pull bullshit advertisements thrown out by the government, I would much rather it be like, yeah, love is love, woo, than, yes, set down vodka. To be a real man, you must deploy into Crimea and commit at least 48 war crimes against indigenous population. Like, to me, I'd prefer the former, you know? I don't like either, but I'd prefer the former. But fascist virtue signaling looks more badass. Maybe this is because I'm soy or whatever, but the hypermasculine posturing, to me, looks incredibly cringe these days. Like, I had my phase when I was 14, and that was super cool to me, but now that I'm not, it just comes off unbelievably juvenile. What does it mean to be a man? Have a stern face, no expression, kill people, be muscular? Dude, you're just a cuck to the state. You're being encouraged to whittle down everything unique and individual, vibrant, and beautiful about yourself. Why are you strong? You're strong so you can do what the state tells you. Why are you emotionless? So you can repress whatever feelings you have when the state tells you to kill until you're out of the military and the therapy bills aren't on them. It's super cuck, dude. Yeah, you're a workhorse. You're a mule. That's not cool to me, you know? Now, if you're some, like, Chad-faced muscular guy and you're not killing people for the state, and instead you're, I don't know, some sort of street performer who does backflips while juggling, like, lit torches, or maybe you're just, like, some sort of, maybe you live in San Francisco on a shoestring budget, and you work out, and you look, like, yoked, and you look, like, super affable, and you show up at, like, Silicon Valley tech conferences pretending to be somebody important, and instead all you do is, like, steal hors d'oeuvres and alcohol and then run off, you know? Okay, now we're talking respectable masculine identities that I can get behind, okay? Maybe you exist, maybe all you do is you, like, stand on a street corner with a big sandwich board over you saying, I can lift you up with one hand, $1. And then, like, cute giggling college girls walk up to you and hand you $1 and you just lift them up with one hand. This is good. You're improving the quality of the world. Just, you know, that's good. Absolutely. Good stuff is being done here. This is way better than dying in Crimea or Afghanistan or wherever the fuck else we're going next. Thoughts on firefighters? I mean, they do really good work. There are a lot of conservative firefighters, but, like, conservatism can only hamper your efficacy so hard when you're fighting against fire, so, you know. Now I'm thirsting after imaginary one-hand lifting, Chad. Well, thirst hard, okay? Because if a small woman weighs 110 pounds, doing a single-armed shoulder press with 110 pounds, like, safely and reliably, that is a pretty extraordinary lift right there. We're talking upper echelons of human physical performance. So, hey, gotta look around, gotta find. Hey. All right. Nicely done. Shoulder presses are fucking hard. Yeah, they are. Also, depending on how good your form is, it's pretty easy to hurt yourself too. I feel like some people care about military shit because they want to contribute in some easily measurable Chad way. Yeah, the problem is we don't do anything good with our military. The last time we did something good with our military that was like unambiguously good was involvement in World War II. There have been a couple of instances where we participated in military action that were arguably defensible, usually stuff in line with UN condemnation, you know, like sending troops in just to like prevent further shit. But at this point, I really do think that like this is one of the reasons why I want us to pull out of Afghanistan, like now. I think that our presence there just exacerbates a lot of tensions in that part of the world that contributes to the harm done there. And it would be better if we had some kind of UN peacekeeping force. If we had like, how sick would it be if we committed our like a significant portion of our military to like UN peacekeeping services? You know what I mean? Like if you sign up for the US military, like you can defer to domestic or like UN services, and maybe the UN can do a little bit more good. We also need to like revamp how we come to decisions of the UN, but yeah. But a UN peacekeeping force cannot do anything. They cannot shoot any terrorists. I'm not 100% familiar with the rules of engagement for UN peacekeeping forces, but I'm pretty sure they can defend themselves. I mean, one of it would be so much better if everything we did was backed by the UN for a couple of reasons, okay? First of all, if a UN like peacekeeping force occupies a country, it doesn't feel like a US invasion. That's a big deal. That decreases the amount of enemy propaganda they can produce. If US troops are stationed in your country, that's cucked. Oh god, like the US military is like in fucking Baghdad? Fuck that, you know? But if it's UN peacekeeping forces, it feels like more of an international coalition. Additionally, UN peacekeeping forces are way more effective at preventing military action from states. Because, and here's the kicker, okay? Attacking as a state a UN peacekeeping detachment is fucking dangerous. Because you're attacking every country who stations soldiers as part of that detachment. That is an insane, like, now, what I'm talking right now is potentially, okay? Because right now, from what I've read, I don't think the UN peacekeeping forces are well managed, and I don't think they do as much good as they could, and I don't like the way the UN is run. But, potentially, but should it be the UN's job to put US interests over everyone else's? Like I said, the concept of the Security Council is outdated, and it needs to be done away with. I think that at this point, yeah, I don't like the Security Council at all. I feel like there has to be a better system. People might just assume the UN are puppets of the USA, though. Well, the UN is no more capable of adhering to US demands than it is China or Russia, since they're also on the Security Council. They can veto shit, too. The UN is just broken. It's just broken, you know? The UN failed in Rwanda? Yeah, they certainly did. Look, okay. And America failed in Iraq and Afghanistan, okay? There's a lot of bad all around, you know? A lot of bad stuff all around. But we're trying our best. Not always, but we try our best. I do. I try my best. Whew. Let's catch up with donos. And then after that, I think we might actually bring this stream to a relatively brief conclusion because I hate all of you. Storm Warden and Kowalski from Nebraska, thank you for the $5 both. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Kowalski, I'm sure we'll talk about it more in stream in the future, some way or another. Storm Warden, thank you for the $5. Of course, comrade. Matthew H, thank you for the $5. Is China really a big threat to Western civilization? I don't know what Western civilization is, but China is not a threat to like global capitalism, if that's what you mean, because they are global capitalism. They're just a different set of leaders with global capitalism. Is America a threat to Western hegemony? Sure. China has the potential to outstrip America and the EU significantly in terms of economic output and Chinese-aligned blocs. And the consequences of that could be complicated, but not a threat to Western civilization. They're not going to, like, invade us. They're a trading partner. Did I say America, not China? China! Tiki Shades, thank you for the very kind $10. I joined my first online forum at age 12. It got raided by trolls who sent gore and violent / gross porn that fucked me up way more than any media I saw. Yeah, dude, the internet is fucking terrible. Weeberry1, thank you for the very kind tier 1 sub. Do you think Demon Mama's prescription of a trans holocaust is a future possibility could happen? Sure. Keep fascists in power for a decade or two, and yeah, all sorts of shit like that could happen for sure. Samalama Ding Dong, thank you for the $5. Can I get a cat review? Ooh, baby. Ooh, fluffy baby. I rate it kitty out of 10. Glaxico, thanks for the $5. I like the Gravel Institute. Sake Tanuki with the incredibly kind $25. Can you do a municipal broadband segment? Start with your local, upgradeseattle.com. What do you mean? Like a segment for how bad things are currently, or a segment for what can be done to improve it? It's something that I want to talk about. ISPs are like fucked. American ISPs are some of the most... American ISPs are like dragging their balls on the face of the American electorate every single day, and we don't mind because we've gotten used to the smell, okay? Yeah, I think it'd be worth talking about. Jatsko with a very kind $8. Can you counter economic propaganda like this post I've been seeing everywhere? This is what people actually care about. How much more does it cost to live in Joe Biden's America? Oh yeah, here's my solution. It's just a lie. Wait, there are several points to make here, okay? First of all, do you think anything else has happened in the past year that might lead to an increase in the price of commodities? Just anything else? Second of all, ask them to point out which policies has Joe Biden put into place that have increased the costs. Third of all, why is it that the increase in prices are also happening in other countries around the world? They don't have Biden as a president. Those three questions can't be answered, and they'll win you the argument. Like, they seriously think like Biden just has a control panel and he's just like, more money, Jack, and just like doubles everything's prices. Sake Tanuki with the very kind $10. Unironically, every PragerU segment where they name drop you, they get name dropped. This is a 3-minute, 15-second clip from a movie, Sake Tanuki. Why would you think I can watch this on YouTube? I'll have to watch this myself and appreciate. You know the rules. I'll have to watch this myself and appreciate the humor on my own terms. All right, people. Last reminder, if you've been watching the stream and you've enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. I'm feeling very optimistic about the future. Today's stream was actually really, really awesome. We had well over 10,000 people listen to me ramble about kink at Pride discourse. One last reminder, while I do maintain that a lot of people on social media are being very fucking weird about the kink at Pride discourse, and it belies a severe bias in their priorities, please don't harass people online whose positions on this differ from yours unless they're acting gigasus, okay? But don't be too hyperbolic. I mean, I don't think Big Joel is a pedophile, so, you know, don't go off being super mean to folks, okay? Yeah, harassment bad, soy, but true. That's true. All right. I love you all very much. Take care of yourselves.